Hello there, everyone. Visa87 here. Today, we're going to be speaking out about events that occurred in the Yu Hakusho community over the last couple of months, almost a year now. After careful consideration of developing this post to inform you of the events that have transpired recently in the community, community I've been part of for the better part of the last 15 years. What's going to be in this letter? Essentially, it'll be my side of things and how they transpired. There's three sides to every story: person A, person B, and the truth, which is usually a mix of both. This video will talk about harassment. It will talk about bullying. It will talk about manipulation, lying, and a lot of stuff that I had to endure from Inward, aka a guy named Fire. I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly. If I'm not, I don't really care. I don't have enough respect for him as an individual after all the things that he's done to me over these last few months. And you know, I'm speaking out about this because what I went through, nobody should have to go through, and I'm not the only person that Thyre did this to, and those people didn't really ever speak up about it, and it was more of like handled within the community, but I think that this needs to be put out there. I think the level of toxicity that Thyre had throughout these last few months, I think it needs to be put out there, and it's not just him. There are other people as well that will be talked about in this video. But Thyre's pretty involved in like Inuyasha TCG, Bleach TCG. He runs the groups for both of those on Facebook. He has one of the two groups for Yu Hakusho on Facebook, the bigger group, which I hope to get a lot of people into. Regret that. And he's also the admin of the current Discord group. He was an admin of the previous group that I ran. That was a mistake. And he's also pretty involved in the Dragon Ball Z community. So he's got his toes dipped into a lot of different communities, and I have to put this out there. So I'm gonna look like a bad guy by doing this, and that's fine. Not everything in this has me in the best light ever either. But you'll see throughout this. This is a 35-page document because of spacing and screenshots. There's a lot of screenshots here. I have a lot of proof to back up a lot of what I'm saying. Not everything, but a lot of it. I also want to note that this video is not meant to change your minds. This is merely informational, and it's meant to expose toxic behavior. And again, not just from Thyre, but from other people in the community too. If you're not interested, I don't know why you're watching at this point. You could just click off the video. Or if you want, in the description below, I'm going to have a link to a PDF of this entire document, so you don't have to flip through the video to see everything. Let's get started. Nearly a year ago, I was reached out to by an individual on Instagram with a large amount of booster box products. So to be upfront, it was Betrayal and Alliance, although most of the product that he had was Alliance. He was interested in selling what he had to me. I assumed I wasn't going to be able to afford what he had, but I asked anyway. The only way you start working out a deal is if, you ask, like, hey, how much do you want for this? The offer he sent me was, at that time, surprisingly, just barely within my budget. I'm talking like not like less than $100 wiggle room of it being within my budget at that time. And after carefully considering it, I decided to meet him at his offer price. And I do want to note that the guy who sold the booster boxes to me knew I would be reselling them. And this is here a screenshot from Instagram of him saying, so pumped for you to get them, talking about the boxes. I hope you get a great return on them. So I do want to make it clear it's not like, oh, I tricked this guy into selling it to me, even though he reached out to me. That was not the case. Again, he was the one that initiated the conversation with me, and he knew I would be reselling them. He knew I was going to make a profit on them, and he was okay with that for whatever reason. He didn't really care about the card stuff too much, and he knew it was going to take him. I guess I'm assuming now. I assume that he knew it was going to take him a long time to move as much as he had. So he figured it might as well go to someone who really genuinely cares about the TCG. And based on his research, I was the go-to guy. I ran the database. I had a YouTube platform, an Instagram platform with tons of cards on it. Um, the Hiei Determined Warrior Double Rainbow, the uncut sheets, at that time, uncut sheet, singular. So I was the guy to go to, or at least based on his research. After receiving everything, I decided I would share the good news with my two closest buds in the community, Karmic and Thyre. I would grow to regret this immensely. Not so much for Karmic, but for Thyre. It was an exciting time for me. I'm the type of person where if something good happens to me, I like sharing it with the people that I'm closest with, and vice versa. I like when people who are close to me get good news and they share it with me because I like being happy for other people. I like supporting them positively. My job is literally around doing things like that. So, yeah. I distinctly remember Karmic saying how I now had a retirement plan in place. He was kind of like joking, being kind of serious, but yeah. And Thyre just being stunned. He was just like, "Oh my god! Like what? What?" And, like that was basically his response. It was a lot to take in. I'd offer screenshots of all of that, but unfortunately, they're in the old server, and I deleted that. We'll talk about that at a later point. At that moment, I had to decide what I was going to do. It was a lot of booster boxes. And the first thing I thought about was what happened with Miss Shinobi. So, Miss Shinobi, a couple of years ago, was considered one of the rarest promos in the game. And then a seller listed up like 10 or 15 of them at once simultaneously. Like, it wasn't even like a week or 2 weeks apart. It was just boom, 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 boom within minutes of each other. And the price tanked. I didn't want to do that to the market. I didn't want to disrupt the market. People were spending a lot of money online, myself included, and the idea that I could do all that did not settle well with me. I was in a position where like I could skew the market in a bad direction, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to just keep things as they were. I decided to trickle things out slowly if I was able to, which is the smartest way to go about it. I mean, if you have a product, and let me get to that in a second. From a financial standpoint, this was the smartest way to do things, and Karmic and Thyre also both agreed that this was the best course of action, and it just makes sense. If you have an item that is considered extremely rare, so let's sidestep for a second. The last time an Alliance box was posted on eBay before mine was about 2 years ago, and it sold for $550 with two Ghost Files boxes. And so that was the last time one had showed up. So there were a lot of demand for one, but no supply. So the smartest thing to do would be to trickle it out slowly. If I dropped, 100 boxes, I don't have 100 boxes. But if, for example, if I dropped 100 boxes at once, the price is going to tank because now the supply is bigger than the demand. We all know basic business. We've all taken a business class in high school at some point or another, or unless you're old. But that's just not the way you do things. I posted in the Facebook group, this was late October of 2020, the first box. So I had made this purchase late summer, sometime in September, maybe it was early October. And I said whoever offers the highest would win. Keep in mind that we were looking at an Alliance box. It had been a while since the last one. This would give a baseline of what people were willing to spend on a box. All right. So at this point, we didn't have a baseline. We needed a baseline. I think I had opened saying that like 1,500 would, in a perfect world, be what I get. I said, but I'm not. I'm going to be realistic. I don't think I'm going to get 1,500 for it. And I think at that time there was the Rising King set that sold for $1,500 or $2,000 on eBay. I can't remember the timeline anymore. Anyway, I did get an offer of 1,250. I had also received an offer of 1,200, and there were one or two other offers that were just nowhere near. I think it was like 1,000, and one guy offered 900, something like that. Those are my guesses. I don't remember those numbers though specifically. I remember the 1,250 and the 1,200 though. After receiving my payment, packing everything, I wondered what the buyer wanted to do with the box. I did ask what she wanted to do with the box, but she didn't know. So after I packed everything, again, I was still wondering, like what is it? What does she want to do? Open, keep it sealed? I assumed she would keep it sealed. But eventually, after a couple of days or weeks after she got it, she decided she wanted to open the box. And again, at that point, she's free to do whatever she wants with it. Open, seal it, throw it into a fire, sell it to a kid down the street. I don't care. It's not my box anymore. It's hers. It's her property. She can do what she wants with it. However, and then now here's where we're going to really start getting into things. Thyre, however, spread false information about this. He stated that I knew in advance the box would be opened in an attempt to make me look bad. He had a narrative that he was trying to stick to, and that narrative was Inviso bad, Thyre good. That was his narrative. So let's take a look. This is from Thayer's Discord group. Well, he also, this is from Overtime, a guy named Sean. Well, he also sold those 2 boxes to her knowing that she was going to open them? Question mark. So he's asking this as a question. He doesn't know the answer. Oh, hey, if you get the foils I want, sell them to me. And Thayer replied, yeah, he knew she would open. And that was one of his first comments in admin chat, LOL. So, unfortunately for Thayer, I have undeniable proof that this is fabricated. This is a complete lie. He made this up. I did post about her opening the box in the admin chat, but that was after the sale had already occurred and only after she had received. So this is him lying. Let's go look at the proof. So here is my messages with Melissa, October 30th, which is when the first box went up in the Facebook group, and there is a tracking number. So let me note one thing. I don't send a tracking number to you unless I've already shipped it. I don't do that whole pre-label kind of thing. That's not my thing. I don't mess with that. I hate it. I find it annoying. It's caused too many issues for me in the past. So I only send the tracking number at the post office. I ask for a tracking number. And then I asked, have you decided if you're going to open or not? And she said, tough decision. So at this point, she still didn't know what she wanted to do, which is completely opposite of what Thayer just claimed above. He lied. I'll admire and take lots of pics as it's sealed, so I can treasure having it. I treasure having one. Never thought I'd get one, but curiosity gets me. Understandable. Gets me too. As is shown, tracking number was provided. Even when I asked what her plans were, she still didn't know. This is just the first of many examples of the type of crap I had to endure from Thayer because I had people telling me, oh, you knew she was going to open it? You're a douchebag. No, I didn't. Genuinely did not know. And it just kind of annoys me that people just believed Thayer without asking for evidence. And I guess but that's typical human behavior. You just assume what you're told is probably the truth. And that, he has no reason to lie, right? Of course he actually has a reason to lie. He wants to look like he's the hero. He wants to look like that he is the guy that is here to save the community, and the truth of the matter is that could not be further from the truth. He was intentionally spreading false information about me to try and ensure no one would buy from me or sell to me or anything like that. He wanted to phase me out of the community. Why? I think a part of it was that he was genuinely upset that I was making a profit. That's what I think. He didn't like that I was making money and he wasn't. And I know that sounds pathetic and it just doesn't make sense. However, he's done this stuff in other communities too. A guy named Anil, who runs DBZ Outpost for the Dragon Ball Z community, he also seems to dislike. And he claims, he's just dishonest and he's difficult to work with. Those are the exact same things that Thayer says about me. He also doesn't like Salvador, and that's mentioned much later down in this. There's a whole paragraph thing about Salvador. Hey, buddy, I hope you're watching. But yeah, we'll keep focusing on Anil here. He hates the guy, and I genuinely do think he hates Anil because Anil makes money off the cards, and I think that's what it is. And again, that's my opinion. That's not a fact, okay? I've talked with Anil before. He seems like a pretty reasonable guy. I did try to buy stuff off of him at one point when I was trying to get the Any Last Requests card. He didn't feel like doing a search for it, so that was kind of lame. But I never got like a dishonest impression from him. And I think that this was just Thayer, again, making things up to try and hurt people from making a profit on cards. At the end of the day, dude, if people want to make a profit, they're more than welcome to. Just because you're not making a profit, well, we'll talk about that later too. But, yeah, I mean, it's just, and it sounds ridiculous, but it's true. Anyway, Melissa received the box. She decided to open, and while she didn't get the Ryzen piece, she was still excited about actually opening a box, and at that time she was satisfied. She eventually ended up having buyer's remorse. I'm sorry, but I can't be blamed for that. I'm sorry. Like, no, I'm not going to apologize for something like that. One more thing to note is this, though. This was posted at a later point. This was only posted about 1 or 2 months ago. when Thayer and I were going back and forth in his group before he banned me. We'll talk about that later too. That was also a time there. I think he meant to say there was also a time when you were an admin, further abusing your power, similar to how you reached out to sell that second box to Melissa. I have no idea what he's talking about here. Again, this is a complete lie. This is completely fabricated. So let's talk about what actually happened with the second box, because again, I have proof. The second box was originally for sale on eBay, and there's proof of that in my stream video, which it's in the paragraph underneath. We'll talk about that there. I originally had the second box on sale on eBay, and Melissa DM'd me on Facebook to do the sale. I did not reach out to her, so let's make that clear, and we've got proof of that. And again, this is just more lies fabricated by Thayer. He's got a narrative he wants to fulfill, and that narrative is, again, Enviso bad, Thayer good. That's his narrative. So here's the conversation. November 24th, 6:37 p.m. This was minutes after my premiere video had ended on YouTube, and there's proof of that. You can go to my YouTube channel, and you can check it out. Check November 24th. That was around Thanksgiving. It was the Thanksgiving Alliance opening bonanza or something like that. I don't remember. She asked, anyone make offers on the box yet? I said thank you, about the Ryzen card pull, because I pulled the Ryzen Ghost Rare piece out of my box. That was super exciting. I never made a clip of that. I really should have. I put it on Instagram, but not on YouTube. And I said, and not yet. I said, it only went up 2 minutes ago. I'm surprised if there were offers already. She said she has it on watch. Not sure if she should go for it again. I was like, well, if you decide, let me know. If we work something out, I'll just pull it from eBay, sell it to you directly. No reason those guys should get 100 plus in fees for me. eBay, you make enough money. Oh, true. I'll wait a day or two. Give someone else a chance. The holiday season. Don't want to be greedy. I said, not a problem. And then she asked about the cards that I pulled from the box. Would I be willing to sell? And I said that I told, I was going to promise Christoph. That's not relevant. Next day, literally almost 24 hours later to the exact minute. 11:24, 6:37, 11:25, 6:35. Literally 23 hours and 53 minutes later. So I thought about it last night. If the box is available still, I'd like to buy it. This completely contradicts what Thayer stated above. Thayer stated that I reached out to her by abusing my power. Clearly, that is not the case. Thayer, you lied and you're caught. Still is available. Would you want to do same price as last time? What would you like to do? I gave her the option to offer lower if she wanted. And she was just like, no, I'm cool with the same price. And I was like, so am I. And then the sale happened. But I was the bad guy in this situation. Interesting. So this paragraph here talks about basically the above. About a month later, I had posted the premiere video, generate some hype about the Alliance box I was planning to sell, the second box, mind you. Hosted a giveaway for a free unopened but weighed pack. I did detail that the pack was weighed. 8 common foils and 2 rare foils had been pulled. 4 spirits, 2 Ubers, and a ghost were pulled. So we knew, unless this was a mispack, no foil. I had also weighed it and guaranteed that it didn't have a foil in it. Just for people that like having sealed packs. Here's a link to the video, though. There's going to be a PDF version of this that I posted. I mentioned that already, so you can go to the link there. Or you just go to my YouTube channel. November 24th was when the premiere stream happened. As stated, eBay auction went live, and then this just talks about, this summarizes the above. I kind of probably should have deleted this, but anyway, it's just going over what I just said above. Buyer decides to open it. I didn't talk about what she actually pulled. So when she opened the second box, she did decide to open it. She got the Ryzen Ghost Rare piece, a Spirit Rare piece of Ryzen, Gale Force, 1 or 2 of the heroes, and I mean, she got an incredible box. It's one of the, maybe even the best box I've ever seen. It was such a good box. I was happy for her, of course. Like, that's awesome. But again, Thayer had said I knew this box would be opened in advance. There's the PayPal payment, and we have the screenshots from above. This is the next message in that. I took it this way because I didn't take the original. The screenshot above this was taken after this screenshot. I forgot I could just open it in Messenger and take it that way, so whatever. But anyway, there's her sending the payment. Received, thank you so much. I'll send tracking when it goes out. What's the plan for this box? Sale was finalized. And then I asked what she planned to do with the box. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to me what she does with it. If she wants to open it, open it. If she wants to sell stuff from it, I'll offer her if I need anything. And I think actually this box she did, I'm pretty sure she pulled a pinky string of love that she didn't need. And she offered to sell me the one that she had in her binder that was damaged a little bit. That had like some scratches on it. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, that's fine. I'll buy it. I need it. So, yeah. But yeah, she told me after the deal that she was probably going to open. I didn't know that she was going to open it again until after she had already purchased it. So again, Thayer is a liar. It rhymes. That's why I'm selling him Thayer. I ended up selling another box privately to someone, box number 3, and trading a box number 4 for a card that someone else was looking to move, valued between $900 and $1,100. Somehow, though, people were starting to get upset at me for selling privately. Apparently, I'm supposed to do every single transaction in public. Yeah, that's not how that works. If I want to sell privately, I can. If I want to sell publicly, I can. You don't get to tell me what to do with my product, and that's a fact. I've had people try to tell me what I should do with my YouTube channel. No, it's my platform, it's my channel. You don't get to tell me what to do with my platform. Sadly, at that time, I ended up listening. I really should have just done what I wanted to do because it's my platform. And the fact that people think that they have this right to tell people how to do stuff, I don't understand it, and I never will. I will never tell. I might suggest. I would say, hey, this is what I think you should do, but ultimately the choice is yours, and whatever they do is up to them. If I'm not scamming anyone, you don't need to be in my business, and I'm not. Never once have I ever been paid for something and didn't send, or did a trade and didn't send. I have 100% on eBay, 100% feedback on Pojo, 100% feedback on Facebook, 100% feedback on my forum, 100% feedback on Macari. I mean, my feedback speaks for itself. So, I'm not scamming anyone. So, stay out of my business. It was at this point that people were growing suspicious of what I actually had. Keep in mind, I'm by no means obligated to tell anyone what I do or do not have. I reserve the right to keep what I have to myself at any given moment. This is another thing that annoys me about trading card communities. And I saw this recently with Gary in the Pokemon community, where people asked, would you ever reveal your full collection? And Gary said no. And people got upset. And I don't understand why. He doesn't have to show off everything he has. Even my yearly videos doesn't show everything I have. It shows a lot, I would say about 95%, but it doesn't show everything. And I don't understand why people have this need to know. Excuse me, no. If I want to keep it to myself, I'm allowed to. And the thing is, most of the people that do this are the people that keep their collections to themselves in private. So that's the part that really gets me. It's just hypocritical. But anyway, I wasn't going to say how many boxes I had. And I really never intended to, but it's been put out there publicly, so oh well. Not by me. By doing so, it would devalue the product that the previous buyers had purchased, would overall hurt the value of the cards that people were dropping money on. I didn't want to crash the market. The community had other plans. So, what happened when this came out? What happened? This isn't in this. The value of Alliance cards went down. Immediately after Thayer told people about the boxes I had, he attempted to sell a Rising King set. At that point, it was selling between $1,200 and $1,500. He had to settle for $600. The price dropped significantly. And he did that to himself. And he even, I remember reading a comment, yeah, it was one of the screenshots I chose not to include in here that I was sent. And when I read it, I had to laugh. Because he was like, oh, I guess I shouldn't have mentioned the Alliance boxes because now I can't sell my Rising King set. And another guy, the guy that made the post about the boxes in Thayer's Facebook group, he had just purchased shortly before then the Ghost Rare piece for $900 by itself, and now the entire set was going for $600. Like, Congrats. You played yourself. Anyway, back to this. Thayer at one point suggested having Karmic sell the boxes in my stead. Going as far to say, does my helping you in this make me guilty too? So I rejected that idea. There was no reason to involve Karmic like that. And I thought it was a stupid idea. I rejected that idea. I rejected every idea that Thayer gave me because it seemed shady. It seemed dishonest. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. That just seems weird. And, in retrospect, I think Thayer was suggesting that because he wanted to then screenshot it and use it against me at a later point. Thayer at this point was already conspiring against me, and I didn't know that. But yeah, Thayer was the one that was coming up with all of these really nasty ideas on what I should do with the boxes. That was all him. That was not me. And he tried to turn around and say that it was me coming up with this idea. And it's like, no, that's not the truth. And Karmic can attest to that, although he's probably not going to. Or he'll just be like, I don't remember. But yeah, Thayer is trying to play the innocent victim. He's trying to be a hero. He's trying to be the bringer of justice. And the truth of the matter is, he was the one that was doing all the really nasty stuff. He was the one that was suggesting all of this really bad stuff. I need water. Hold on one second. This is actually take 2 on this video because I accidentally revealed a last name in the last one when I was recording it the first time. So, yeah, I'm kind of out of breath, so to speak. Anyway, back to that comment. Does my helping you make me guilty too? It was a weird comment. I didn't even respond to that comment at the time because I sat there and I went, that was weird. What do you mean make you guilty? I don't know. I don't see a problem with someone not revealing all the product they have. I've had it happen to me too when I bought from PokeRev. Their eBay account, what was it? CTR PR, I believe was his eBay account. He has like an Exile box up for $700. So I originally bought an Exile box for $500 from him. And then he listed up another one after for $700. And I didn't really like CTR PR, and it wasn't because of that. It was because I had messaged him multiple times about what did he want for that Exile box, and he never responded even once. I gave him a 1-star on communication when I did buy the box from him. That was the reason I didn't like him. It had nothing to do with his selling practices, though. I just think that he's a terrible negotiator because he doesn't communicate, which in turn hurts him more than anyone else. I mean, that box is still sitting there for $700. He's not able to sell it because I think it's because he's not responding to offers. So, why have make an offer if you're not going to respond? I just don't understand. Let's sidestep for a bit, though. There's a lot of other events leading up to what the situation is today. Uncut sheets. Let's talk about this. This is good. So, there was a claim made by Thayer that I bought sheets from name redacted. This person does not want their name made public, so I'm not going to include it at all. So if you're watching, and you probably are, hey, I hope you're well. The person mentioned has asked for his name to not be mentioned in any of my dealings with him, so I know for sure he doesn't want his name mentioned here. And I assume the same was asked of Thayer, but the Thayer ignored that, and he did some bad things. Anyway, let's see the picture below. Let's get the full details. So this was posted in Thayer's Discord server. He wants everything. He's referring to me, by the way. I used to do a lot of business with so-and-so. Name redacted. But I went through some financial problems, but he had some sheets from Yu on hold for me. I don't blame name redacted for selling. But I am annoyed that Inviso knowingly bought them. Knowing they were on hold for me. He is literally the most selfish person when it comes to cards. I did make so-and-so wait a long time. Wish he gave me a heads up, but Inviso had cash on hand from the boxes. So... And then Guzman replies, I still think buying the sheets out from under you is way worse than price gouging. I'm not going to even bother with the price gouging comment. That's what an idiot comment. But let's talk about what Thayer claims here, that I knowingly bought them. Thayer very rarely makes public what he has and what he doesn't have in terms of uncut sheets. And even in terms of his collection, no one really knows what he has. He keeps it, for the most part, very, very private. Yet I'm supposed to publicize everything. I don't know, hypocrite. Anyway, a couple months back, Thayer had shown off a Ghost Files starter deck uncut sheet with a blank foil card on it. That really interested me. I love that stuff. It was assumed that since Thayer was showing it off, that he was the owner of the sheet. So he had just posted a picture of it, just like randomly. Myself and Phil, known in the server as Magical Yana, had shown interest in the sheet, or maybe Phil was interested in the Scratches foil sheet. I can't remember for sure. But neither of us wanted to drop a lot of money on it. Thayer wasn't really up for selling it, no big deal. Bit of time passes. I reach out to Name Redacted, ask if he happens to have any uncut sheets or knew anyone with them. He responds that he does, and he showed me 3 gateway sheets: Cloudy, Jagged, Double Rainbow, Common, and Rare, and then the Ghost File starter deck sheet, the one that Thayer had previously shown. I couldn't believe another was out there, so I was under the impression, oh my god, there's 2 sheets out there, because I believe there's 2 Cloudy sheets out there for Gateway. I don't know who owns the other Cloudy sheet. I think Thayer does, and I think he keeps it like low key. He doesn't tell anyone, because I know that Yusuke the Raver, Ian, had sold some of his sheets to Thayer. But Thayer doesn't really publicize that much. It was at this point I reached out to Thayer. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped a couple of things. I couldn't believe there was another out there. I asked him if he's willing to sell, how much, and eventually we agreed on a price. It was actually more than I wanted to pay for the Ghost Files sheet. I don't think it was worth what I paid for it, but the other 3 sheets I felt I was getting a good deal on. So I went, you know what? I'll eat like the 200 to 300 extra for it, because I think I'm making 200 to 300 off of the better than what I could have gotten them for the other sheets. So that's why I was okay with it. And I did actually stream these sheets, so you can check my YouTube channel. I stream this. I reached out to Thayer at this point, and I apologized. Why was I apologizing? I wish I had screenshots of this, but I blocked Thayer, and even if I unblock him at this point, I can't get the conversations back because we need to share a server, because I closed out the window completely. I was apologizing, though, because I had told him I was going to buy his starter deck sheet at some point, but I didn't need to any longer because I had obtained one. I felt bad that I told him I'd eventually buy it, but I wasn't going to now. And I messaged Phil as well, and I was like, hey, I actually just picked up a starter deck sheet, and I don't need to buy it from Thayer, so if you're interested in it, go for it. And I think it was at this point Phil was like, oh, I was actually more interested in the Scratches sheet maybe than that sheet, or something like that. I don't remember. But there was no set deal in place. I don't like telling someone I'm going to buy something and then back out. I don't like doing that. A lot of people do that to me, and it really rubs me the wrong way. Or they like, hey, send me pictures of the product. And I'm like, ugh. So I go through all the effort, send pictures, and they go, that's cool. I'm like, you going to offer for it? They go, why would I offer for it? I'm like, then why did you make me send a picture? So yeah, I really don't like when people do that. So I wanted to at least, apologize for that. However, turns out Thayer didn't own the sheet that he was showing off. The sheet that he showed off was a picture that the guy I bought it from sent to him. And I could speak from experience in my deals with this person. He doesn't like when his pictures are posted publicly. He does not like that at all. So, if you're watching the video, yeah, Thayer did everything that I assume you told him not to do. Anyway, I got the impression that Thayer was upset with me about this. But, in DMs with me, he was like, oh no, I'm upset with the seller. He was the one that said he was going to hold it for me, blah, blah, blah. This is completely his fault. I'm not mad at you. However, when it fit his needs, he switched sides on this and said that I was the bad guy and that I knew I was buying it out from under him. But that doesn't make sense, because Thayer never made it clear he didn't own the sheet. If he was showing pictures, it was assumed that he was the owner. And, and Thayer even went on to admit later that, he had kept so-and-so waiting for a long time. And the seller was just like, I have someone who has money up front, wants to pay now. I'm just going to sell it to him. And I had made a better offer than Thayer did for that sheet. So I'm not really sure how I got blamed for this. Because, one, Thayer showed off the sheet as if he owned it already. I tried to make an offer for it, and he turned down the offer, which is fine. I don't understand why he showed the sheet off, though. He never finished the deal with this person. He never owns the sheet. And I'm sorry, but Thayer only has himself to blame for not being upfront about who the owner of the sheet was. I don't remember name redacted. I don't remember his name being mentioned at all when that sheet was shown. I don't remember that. And maybe it was and I missed it, which in that case, my apologies. I am in the wrong then. Absolutely. But I don't remember that being the case. And this all comes down to the fact that Thayer was being secretive about all of this. Yet people want me to be public about everything. It's just funny how all my dealings have to be public, but when Thayer does it in private, it's okay. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. So let's summarize this. I did not know the sheets were on the side. I did not knowingly buy the sheets out from under him. This is completely fabricated, and if there's proof of this, please show me. But I know there's not because I never said it. Anyway, Thayer at no time said that those sheets were on the side for him. He at no time said that he was upset with me. He blamed the seller of the sheet. This is what is called gaslighting, folks. Gaslighting is when you attempt to rewrite how a situation played out in order for it to better suit the gaslighter's needs. Thayer rephrased what actually happened and tried to pass it off as legit. And I'm not about that. It's manipulative. It's two-faced. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. He is a disgusting individual. And we're not done there. So one final comment about the uncut sheets. There was also the double rainbow sheet that I bought a long while back from Thayer. Thayer made this claim. I couldn't find the screenshot. I think I forgot to save it. That I guilted Thayer into selling his double rainbow sheet for less. That he got it from Ian for a likely cheap price. Okay, let's be 100% clear about this. Ian told me back in 2014 about the existence of that sheet and that he was paying $900 for it, okay? I can't confirm that Ian ever got this sheet. Later, Ian claims that he never got this sheet. And when I brought it up that I knew what Ian got it for, Thayer never once denied getting it from Ian. My assumption is that Thayer got it from name redacted and that Ian never actually finalized the purchase with this person. I paid $5,000 for the sheet. I had gotten an inheritance, and Thayer, I had mentioned that I had just gotten a bunch of money from an inheritance, and I think that's why Thayer drove the price up as high as he did. Apparently I guilt tripped him into it though. He made a very large profit off of it, which okay, I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, how dare you make a profit. He made a profit. Okay, I'm okay with. Honestly, I'm okay with that. Like, it sucks, but what can you do? But for some reason, he's saying I guilt tripped and manipulated him when he was sick. I don't know where that's coming from. I never once got this impression the entire time we were working out numbers, and we were working out numbers for a while. This is just Thayer twisting the situation. I mean, I'm allowed to say, yeah, I know you got it for 900. I don't actually know for sure he got it for 900, but I'm pretty sure he did get it for 900. But this was just Thayer was playing victim. He was twisting the situation. Again, the theme here, his narrative, and Vizzo bad, Thayer good. That is his narrative, and he will say or do anything, including lie and manipulate and twist situations in order to satisfy that. So here's the DM from Yusuke the Raver. I'm sorry that it's so small. Hey, so I'm getting an uncut sheet from name redacted. However, it's not the one with the Otacos on it. It's actually something way cooler. Tire Gateway, Go Super Spirit, Reprint Character, Foil Sheep, but that's what makes it scary. They're all double rainbow. Talking double rainbow, bullseye faces, all of them. So the thing that worries me is if they ever printed them or it's just something that was not intended to be released. We did find out that they never got released. I'll have a video up when I get it. Had to pay $900 for it, so I sold a lot of extras to get it. The sheet that Ian did end up getting, I believe, actually, was the cloudy sheet. He did not get the double rainbow sheet. Thayer ended up getting it instead. New topic. Harassment, power abuse, and skating. This is a long one. Thayer has claimed harassment against Salvador, also known as Cynic Focus, for years and years now. He has accused him of screwing the marketplace over, especially in Inuyasha, along with other things. Thayer has hated Salvador for a long time due to a previous incident that occurred 4+ years ago. That's right, we're talking about an incident that occurred back in early 2017. Okay? I will 100% admit, though, that Salvador was in the wrong for the comment that he made to a guy named Matt regarding Thayer. And Salvador has admitted that, it was out of line as well. It was a nasty comment. He was punished for this on the old forum, where I decided to ban him for 3 weeks. You'll see that Thayer claims otherwise. He claims that I only banned him for 1 week. That's another lie, fabrication. Once more, showing that Thayer was intentionally lying about how things played out in order to make me look bad. And this is a theme that's just going to continue, and continue, and continue. Here's the comment. Salvador should have been banned years ago after he harassed Matt and me, but you still wanted cards from him or whatever. So you gave him a 1-week temp ban, and then he showed off the screenshot. We'll show up. We have that screenshot. We have that. So let's go take a peek at it. Starting to regret buying these from the DBZ FB group, are we? This is from Salvador to the guy named Matt. These only go for about $50. I hope you lose money. D-bag, funny how you moved from 170 to 100 already. Don't base your prices on that cricket guy. It was a really inappropriate comment. And this is part of my message I sent to Salvador. I was sent this picture today. This was on the old forum. I still had the messages. I'm like 99% sure you're so-and-so on eBay. I'm going to tackle this as if I don't know you. Taking a non-biased stance is absolutely crucial when something like this is brought to my attention. I know how to be a good administrator. Thayer, he could learn a thing or two. I have no feelings on the matter. And when I say that, I mean, I have no feelings in terms of, bias. I'm not going to let my friendship with him or my friendship with someone else cause a rift in how I settle this. So I am taking this from a completely neutral stance. And I mentioned that I'm taking it as an admin, not a collector. Nothing I say is meant as personal, but this is strictly forum business. While you're more than allowed your own opinions on people, how you express them is crucial. I get you don't like N-word. I can only wonder why. And you seem to have an issue with this Matt guy as well. That's fine and dandy. Messages like these are not needed or warranted, though. It's in bad taste, and considering you are what I consider one of the more prominent members of the forum, it's in even more bad taste to do something of this nature, as it reflects poorly not just on yourself, but the community as a whole. This is not the message I want driven to the people who buy, sell, trade, or play this game. It's been around for far too many years to be driving members away from it at this point. We don't all have to like each other, but what I do expect and what I do want from people of this forum is for them to at least be cordial to each other. Again, Thayer, you could learn a thing or two about being cordial. You are... Anyway, yes, it was a bad deal what he had them for, but that is no reason to take the route that you did. Again, this is 2017, folks. Back then, boxes weren't selling for nothing. Informing you of the high price is fine, but calling you a dumb and a douche and inward a blank is not. There are better ways to present yourself. I don't know where this is coming from, as you've been nothing short of a wonderful person and a positive addition to this community and this forum, which is why it irks me to have to come up with some type of punishment for this, as this type of behavior is not acceptable either on or off the forums, but I cannot let this slide. If there are other things going on outside the forum, then I hope they peacefully resolve themselves in your favor. So I'm talking if there's personal issues going on and that's why you're acting out like this, I do hope that they resolve themselves positively. But I ask that you not drag this onto the forums. I'll be blunt and say that I'm considering a temporary ban because of this. It would be in the range of 2 to 4 weeks, heavily depending on your response to me. And in the case of there is something going on and it's trickling in here, think of it as a needed vacation. You need a break. I await your response before carrying out a punishment, of course, as I would like to hear your side, like any good investigator would do. If somehow this isn't you, then it was a good pep talk based on the responses in the eBay thread. There was some nasty responses with some people in there. So, yeah, just like, hey, don't do this. Thanks for your time for reading over this. I hope this doesn't cause any issues between us, as I personally have no issues with you and would, of course, prefer to keep it that way. His response. I did include the bottom line of what I stated, so you know it's in the same DM. It's fine. I have no issues with you. I really don't have a response, but somehow felt I would be banned anyway. Glad it might not be permanent. The temporary one is fine. You're just doing your job. So after I read this, I was like, all right. I wasn't the hugest fan of that response. But he didn't respond in a nasty way, and he did admit that it was him, and that he knew it was coming. So I decided that I was going to go in the middle. 3-week ban. 4 weeks I felt was going to be too harsh, and I felt that 2 weeks was just not going to be enough. Give you an hour to sort any ongoing deals. I hope this is the last time this issue occurs, because I like it, man, and definitely don't want to lose you for good from this forum. And that he would have the same rights as a guest. This ban was going to be lifted then, on February 14th, 2017. And he responded that he already took care of those things before he hit the send button, and to go ahead and administer it to him. So I did give Salvador a second chance. I felt he deserved that much, and people can say terrible things in the moment, and you never know what is going on with folks. Punishment was given and served, and I honestly thought that was the end of it. That was not the case. Thayer, however, held on to his hatred towards Salvador. Salvador has been listing cards at pretty high prices, but he's more than welcome to. I mean, there are cards that he has listed that I'm like, yeah, I would never spend that on that card. But it's his card, it's his call. Who am I to tell him what to price it for? Thayer didn't like this though, and asked me on numerous occasions to ban Salvador from the Discord server, citing the harassment he endured from 4 years ago, and that Salvador was a detriment to the community. And no, I said no. I was not going to do that. And that while some of his prices might be a bit questionable, that doesn't constitute a ban from the server. This would be power abuse. I don't like your prices, so I'm going to ban you. No, that's bias. That's power abuse. Like textbook definition power abuse. I don't like you for this. I'm going to ban you. That's power abuse. Thayer brought up the incident from 4 years ago, but Salvador had already served his punishment, and I was not going to punish him again for something he was already punished for, especially for something over card prices. It was at this point in the conversation that Karmic stepped in, because this was taking place in the admin chat in my Discord server, and agreed that Salvador did not deserve to be banned for his card prices on eBay, and that if he was, then Karmic should be banned also. Thayer had no response to that. He couldn't respond, because he knew at this point it was clear that it was bias. Very clear. Eventually, he had to drop the topic, but that didn't stop him. He continued to ask me every couple of days or weeks, hey, you should ban Salvador. He sucks. Hey, ban Salvador. You haven't banned Salvador yet. You should ban him. No. Stop annoying me about this. And this just goes to prove a point that Thayer is the aggressor. So let's be very clear here. Salvador didn't say anything to him. I mean, it's not like Salvador was in the chat like trying to instigate fights or anything. He was just buying and trading and selling and partaking in conversations but there was nothing nasty at all. This was strictly Thayer working behind the scenes to try and screw him over. Not the first time he does this, not the last. But I was not going to abuse my power. I'm a better administrator than him, and I'm a better person than that. So what did Thayer do in response to me saying no? He then publicly began shaming Salvador for his prices in the server. Again, I don't have pictures of this. That server's gone. But I do have something. Wait just a minute, though. Time and time again, I'd see open up Discord Thayer throwing shade at Salvador. I don't think Salvador knew the amount of times that Thayer did this, because I don't think he read everything in the chat. But it reached a point where Thayer was doing it so much that other people like Guzman were starting to join into it. In which Guzman, if you're watching, you're just a sheep, man. All you do is follow people. I don't think you're a bad person, Guzman. I don't. I just think that you don't know how to determine things for yourself. You're influenced too easily. And I think you need to do more research on what you're saying, agreeing with other people, because bad look. And the big talk was the $1,000 SK1 Yusuke. I really shouldn't have let these conversations happen. I had too much going on at work at the time. to sit there and play babysitter for the man-child admin. I should have just taken his admin powers. However, eventually Salvador saw one of these comments, and they went back and forth in the server. And it really just left a bad taste in my mouth because this was all done publicly, and I was not alone in that. A lot of people were not happy with how that played out, and they weren't happy with Thayer. He was an administrator, and he was being a troll. He was instigating. He, it really annoyed me the way that he was acting. He was being aggressive, and it was solely over the fact that I don't like him, so I'm going to pick a fight with him every chance I get. And that's important, because you're going to see that later as well. Thayer could not bring himself to simply behave and let bygones be bygones. The man doesn't know how to. He doesn't know how to be civil. Probably why he doesn't. You know what? Nope. I'm not going to say that comment. After the argument between Salvador and Thayer, Salvador ended up muting the server. He was tired of seeing the aggressive comments, and he thought the incident of the past was in the past. Thayer was the only one holding a grudge, and he was being a shit stirrer. Salvador knew what he said was wrong, and he never wanted to be responsible for something like that again. He didn't want to be removed from the community. And that's understandable. Who would? There's always issues. People have been accusing Inviso of shit and Cynic of being a shit stirrer, and I constantly called them out, making myself a shit stirrer. Salvador wasn't starting anything. The last comment Salvador had made to Thayer that was negative before that fight in the server was that comment from 4 years ago. He hadn't said a word, at least publicly, to my knowledge anyway, otherwise. Cynic wasn't starting anything. Thayer actually convinced himself that Cynic was starting stuff, when that was not the case. Cynic was just posting cards up for sale, and that's it. And Thayer took that personally. How dare you make money? Oh, wait a minute. We already said something like that. He hates a nil from the Dragon Ball Z community as well, because he makes money. Huh. That's a strange coincidence, don't you think? Wait a minute. Thayer hates me because I made money. I mean, it speaks for itself. Anyway, Thayer never once provided any proof that Salvador was starting anything other than his prices suck, kick him out. And the people accusing me of stuff, we'll talk about that later. So, again, Salvador didn't start anything. There's no proof of this, and there's no proof of it because it never happened. Again, this is Thayer making things up to make it look like he is the good guy. Thayer good, and Inviso bad, Cynic bad. A Cynic, you're now part of this equation. But Thayer's instigating doesn't stop there. No. There was another incident a few months back with a guy named John M. This is before the Salvador thing. I think it was before the Salvador thing. It was. I'm pretty sure it was. I will absolutely admit John's cards were not in mint condition, and they had a smoke smell to him. You know, when you're around smoking long enough, you don't smell it anymore. So you're like, I don't smell the smoke smell because you've gotten used to it. Anyway, Thayer ended up buying cards from him anyway. I never understood why he did, and of course ended up being displeased with the condition. So I want to note a little thing here that Chris was actually the one that bought the card. But he had it shipped to Thayer for a charity and not shipped to him because Chris thought it made no sense to have the card shipped to him and then he shipped them to Thayer. That didn't make sense. So to save himself the shipping, he said, here's the address I want you to send the card to. So Thayer and John went back and forth in DMs for a while. I was asked to step in by John to help resolve it. And honestly, when I went to bed that night, I thought it was resolved. I stepped in. I got John to admit, you know what? You're right. That card wasn't mint condition. I didn't see that. I got him to admit it. And I thought the situation was going to be resolved. And honestly, I thought it was. Thayer, at that point, went into the server and did an everyone tag and tagged John and asked for people to talk about their transactions with John. Which John got mad. He was mad. Like, how dare you go and do that? What the heck? it opened the can of worms all over again. And at that point, John was like, F him. I'm not going to work anything out with him now. And I'm like, Thayer, why didn't you just keep your mouth shut? He was going to give you at least a partial refund. But no, Thayer can't do that. He doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut, which is why he's terrible as an administrator. He wanted that public display. He turned it into a big mess. He wanted to be seen as the victim, and that's what he wanted. And that's a common theme again here. Thayer, victim. That is what he wants to drive across. He wanted people on his side, and he wanted the public to know it. I remember I was so stressed when I saw that. I was like, I'm literally trying to go to sleep right now, and I have to deal with this. And I said, F that. Nope. And I turned off my phone and I went to sleep. And I didn't deal with it until the next day. Again, Thayer was being an aggressor while simultaneously trying to say, I'm a victim. I will admit, Thayer had a reason to be upset about the condition of the card. Absolutely understandable. I will not deny him that. But he just wanted people on his side. He wanted people to tell him he was right. And he wanted it to be a public debacle because I assume his own benefit. I think he had a joy in it. But this isn't the only time Thayer has done this. No. A couple of months ago in the Mr. Popo group, a group for Dragon Ball Z TCG trading, or whatever, I don't know if it's TCG, the score entertainment version of Dragon Ball Z, the card game. Thayer also did this to a guy named John L. Who was also not, John was not liked in the DBZ community. I don't think he's part of the group anymore. I tried to track down the post. It was removed. What Thayer did was he posted screenshots of their DMs where John was like, hey, I got this card from you, and the corner's peeling. Like, that's, like, what? And Thayer blew up on him. He went off. And he made it a public post like, I want people to post here about all my trades and all these transactions I've done, and I've never had an issue, and now all of a sudden there's an issue. I mean, you have to admit, Thayer, maybe you just missed it. But I tried to track down this post. It looks like it got deleted, and he was trying to turn the public against this John guy. That was his plan all along. And I'm not going to sit here and say this John L person was a good guy. I've seen some of the comments he made. The guy was not a good guy, but it was basically, it was an ego battle. That's what it was. It was all about his ego. He needed his ego stroked. Thayer, I mean. Ego wanted his ego stroked. Now, he could have reached out to an admin and had it resolved privately. There was no reason to make it a public debacle. But then Thayer wouldn't get to play victim and wouldn't get people to feel bad for him. That's what he wanted. He wants people to feel bad for him. He wanted to play the aggressor. That's all he ever wanted. There was another person involved in that Thayer also, and I put this in quotes, exposed. I don't remember the name, though. And I think it was in the same post as the John L guy, or maybe it was a different post. I don't remember. Again, I couldn't find it, so it sucks. Here's a couple of comments about John M. This is about John M, not John L, so we're going away from the DBZ stuff here. Also, John would harass everyone and send them cards in damaged condition, claimed it wasn't. Again, he had cards you wanted, though, so as long as you got what you wanted, it didn't bother you. Again, this is a lie. That had nothing to do with that, and that, that's proven by my conversations with Salvador, that it was strictly business. Form business, I mean, not like money business or card business. No. This was strictly me being a good administrator and handing out punishments on an as-needed basis. Not overdoing it, but not underdoing it either. I tried to be as fair as possible. Show me proof of John harassing people, because this sounds like it just made it stop. It's like 20 screens from John just bothering me about stuff. He was pretty vocal on the Discord. He deleted, though, and rude, and I know for a fact other people had difficulties with him since it was reported to me as an admin. Thayer never proved this. He said there's 20 screens. That was John trying to work out the freaking cards with him. So even if it was true, those 20 screens was John trying to resolve things, and Thayer just not doing it, not communicating, he was just being a D-bag. That's what he was. And I think some of those messages were probably him, John, telling Thayer off for the public tag. I know I would have. If someone had did that to me, you would be getting a couple FUs in your DMs, and publicly too. So Thyre blamed John for being upset, but it was understandable. It was completely understandable why he was upset. Aside from that, he just wouldn't stop messaging. He tried to call me on Discord. I told him to just go talk to you, which I guess he did do at some point, and he did. So I think that this is kind of fabricated. I actually, the proof. Show me proof, and Thyre didn't. So I'm under the impression that maybe there is no proof, or if there is, it's because Thyre knows that it's not as bad as he's trying to make it sound. That's what he does. He makes a mountain out of a molehill. Because again, Thyre good, Inviso bad, Cynic bad. John M joins us, so John M bad. Thyre never actually posted any proof. John was mass messaging Thyre. Again, I just went over this. I did resolve it. I had it resolved. John admitted that oh, you're right, I made a mistake. But that wasn't good enough for Thyre. Because he's a petulant child. That's just what he is. You're a child. You are a child. We aren't done there. We've got more. Thyre had listed a double rainbow head-on assault in his Facebook group. I posted an opening offer, then edited it because I wanted to ensure conditions / no smoke smell, which I assumed that there wasn't any damage. I assumed no smoke smell, but it wasn't explicitly stated. Thyre did not take well to this, and he responded very nasty. I thought I took screenshots of this. Apparently, I never did. When I was going through all my screenshots and my files, this wasn't there, and I was mad at myself. But so you're gonna have to just take my word for it. I responded with a question mark. I just wanted to verify condition, or if he had another offer or a counter offer, to just tell me. Like, dude, I'm just trying to buy a card off of you. Like, don't be difficult about this. He was so insulted that how dare you question the condition of my card? So the picture was one picture, and it was of the upper right corner of the card, showing that it was double rainbow. That would be unacceptable in any group if that was a sales post, which it was. It was a sales post. That would be unacceptable. You cannot show only a corner of the card and say, huh, this is for sale. He said my offer was terrible. I did say it was an opening offer. My post specifically said, I'm going to open with boom. And then we started going back and forth with arguing. He then warned me and that he would ban me from the group for starting trouble. Asking condition is starting trouble? He called me a baby. He was name calling. He was like, you're the one in here with an attitude. I'm the one acting extremely aggressive. And I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Karmic had to step in and calm things down, but as you've seen, Thyre holds grudges, and he will hold them for years. So yeah, my apologies. I thought I had screenshots of this. Apparently I don't. I do want to point out, by the way, it was a public auction. He was doing like a bidding type thing, and someone offered him privately, and he sold it to them and didn't inform anyone. He broke his own rules. Go ahead, look at the post for those that are still in the Facebook group. The post is still there. He sold it privately when it was a public auction. That he's not supposed to do that. He broke his own rules. Get out of here. No! Stupid email. Anyway, for the final portion of this, just more as pointing out kind of thing they have, or maybe had at this point, in the Discord server, an entire channel dedicated to me called Drama Llama. I don't know if this channel is still around. The person that was in the server that was sending me stuff left because they were just disgusted by Thyre at this point, and they're like, F this, I'm out. They also had an alliance box emoji called 1 of 40 or something like that. I never actually saw that, so I can't verify that. But that was uploaded, if I had to guess, by Thyre. I mean, if we're talking childish behavior, there you go. There was a suggestion to delete the channel months ago, but Thyre rejected it. I was only told this, I wasn't shown it. But here is the post by Chris, Apologenetics. I don't support what he, Inviso, me, did, but I think we need to refocus on what made the old Discord great and why many of us are here, trading, buying, selling, and talking cards. If I may, is anyone against deleting the Drama Llama and moving forward from all of it now that it's out there? And Thyre said, oh no, we're not deleting that channel. It's staying. So he had an opportunity to show growth as an individual. And he said, I don't want to grow. I want to be stuck in the past. Well, your past is here, buddy, and it's knocking. And whether you open the door willingly or not, it's stepping in. He was given an opportunity, and he chose not to. So this is the type of man-child that we are dealing with here. Oh my gosh, everyone is messaging. Let's talk about the collection. A few months back, I was talking with Adam S. about his collection and was curious as to what all he had left with the goal of offering. While in my talks with him, Thyre reached out to me asking if I was offering for his stuff, and I said, yeah, I would be. I would be sending an offer in for it. Thyre then oh no, I'm sorry, I skipped the line there. I assumed he wouldn't sell singles. I did ask if he would sell singles. He said no. So I figured, all right, I probably have to either buy it via set or just buy everything at once. Thyre said he was also trying to buy everything from Adam. After talking, we had come to an agreement. I would back out of buying Adam's cards. I wouldn't respond to Adam at this point. And Thyre would piece out cards to me that I wanted based on a small list and then my actual Google Docs. Thyre later on, I'm going back to the parentheses, they're saying Adam never would have sold to me. But let's be realistic. We've caught Thyre in so many lies at this point that I don't actually believe him. I don't think he was being honest. I think that if Adam and I had continued talking, that we may have worked something out. But maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? However, like I said, Thyre the liar. Thyre was the one, so this is important. Thyre was the one who came up with the agreement. And so I was the one that agreed to it. And he said he'd hook me up and would sell / trade to me. And later on, he included Chris in this. I don't really know why. That was never part of the original deal. Whatever. I don't care. I confirmed this with them on 2 more occasions. I wanted to make sure, are we clear on what the conditions of this deal are? And Thyre said, yes, I know. Every single time. I remember him stating something along the lines of definitely being able to help me cut my list in half, which was a goal of mine this year. And I had said, I would really like to cut my list in half this year from this number to this number, and my unlims from this number to this number. And Thyre was like, oh, we can definitely do that, especially with this collection. We'll definitely be able to do it. Weeks passed. Eventually, Thyre and Adam came up with a deal. Adam sold his collection to Thyre. Thyre receives and asks about the cards, but that day he's like, oh, I'm tired from opening and looking and all that stuff. Rolled my eyes, cool, whatever. I waited a day or 2, I asked again. He said, I'm not feeling well today, I'll look later. Okay. At this point, I had now been blown off twice. And I was like, something's not right here. So at this point, Thyre had 7 opportunities to say he wasn't going to fulfill his end of our agreement. You know, the agreement that he came up with. He did get back to me about a day or 2 later. And he says how greedy I am. And that he absolutely was not going to send me anything unless he had extras. This was not the agreement. The agreement was that if I needed stuff from it, that was the stuff he was selling to me. And Thyre was keeping everything else. That was the agreement. And it was based on my lists. That was the agreement. As you can imagine, I was pretty freaking upset by this. Because he had weeks to tell me this. But he waited until the cards were in his hands. He wanted to be sure he was getting the collection before telling me, I don't want to do our arrangement anymore. He was like, oh, you keep pestering me about the cards. Well, yeah, we had a deal in place, we had an agreement, and you backed out when I fulfilled my end. That's not how deals work. That is what gets you labeled as a scammer. So yes, I'm Thyre, I'm calling you a scammer now, because we had a deal, I fulfilled my end, and you didn't fulfill yours. Now, a lot of people are like, that's not really scamming, he was extremely dishonest. We had a deal. When you sign a contract, right, when you sit there and you sign a contract and the other person signs the contract, you fulfill your end and they don't fulfill yours, what happens? Or, I'm sorry, they don't fulfill theirs. What happens? You bring them to court and you say, well, they didn't fulfill their end and I fulfilled mine. And more often than not, you're going to win that case. Yeah, I was still a little angry about this. He claims that his intention was never anything bad and that he just misread what he agreed to. Wait. He claims that his intention was never bad and that he just misread. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I remember him stating something along the lines of definitely being able to help me cut my list in half. Wait. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a second here. Okay, so I didn't even catch this. Thyre had told me that he thought my list was just a couple of exile cards. But he had told me he was going to help me cut my list in half. He knew! He knew! Oh, you piece of crap. He intended to screw me over from the beginning. He intended to screw me. He was never going to sell it to me in the first place, and he knew it. So the reason I didn't catch this until just now is because I didn't complete all this at the same time. I didn't write this entire document at the same time. I had an original document, and then I edited this just a couple of days ago. But I had written this document a couple of months ago. He knew what he agreed to because he told me he was going to cut my list in half at minimum. Wow. He intentionally screwed me. It was intentional. He lied to me when he said, oh, I just misread it. I didn't believe him back. Hold on. I obviously I cannot. Okay, wait. Let's keep going for now. Oh my God, I have to keep myself calm because I'm going to say something that's going to get me a strike on YouTube at this point. He claims that his intention was never anything bad. He just misread what he agreed to. It's not my fault you didn't feel like reading what you were agreeing to 3 times or less. So no, that's not true at all. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. Obviously, would not force someone to sell to me, but when you make a promise to do so and back out after I fulfill my end of the agreement so you could get cards for presumably cheaper, as now there was no other competition at that point. I was the only competition. I reserve every right to be upset. Sit there and act like he did nothing wrong. He's like, and to throw it out there, he got a dark one. Yeah, he got a dark one. He spent $7,000 for the collection. He sold a dark one to Melissa for $3,000, even though his own price guide had it at $1,600. And then he had nerve to say, you're the one juicing Alliance boxes when he himself did the same thing to Alyssa. He juiced her. Just unreal. Just unreal. What the hell? Oh my God. He knew what he was doing the whole time. He knew what he was doing the entire time. Later on, Thyre, I almost said something that was going to get me a strike. Thyre later claimed to have bought a dark one also for $3,000. He's never sent a picture of this supposed dark one. He's never provided proof of this. And if you sit there and say, well, he doesn't have to, then why did I have to with my boxes? You can't sit there and say, well, he's allowed to stay private, but then tell me, no, you have to be public. Just a note, he was very upset that I found out that Melissa bought it for $3,000. He was like, that was a private transaction. You had no right to sit there and talk about this. And we're going to talk about that later because someone called me out for that. And I had a couple of words for him. Thyre is only concerned with himself. That's really all it is. He's very ego-driven. It's all about his ego. He's very selfish. He only cares about himself. If you genuinely think he cares about others, that's not true. I think that, calling someone a sociopath, I think the whole charity thing, I'm not going to, you know what, I'm not going to say anything about the charity right now. That's also later on. Thyre later claimed that I was mad for him not selling cards that he promised to me. That was not true. I wasn't mad that you didn't sell to me. I was mad that you were dishonest about selling to me. You said you were going to, and then you backed out after I fulfilled my end. Yeah, so even as I wrote this, I firmly believe he knew exactly what he was doing. He did! I was right! He knew! He knew! He knew! Oh my god. I should have bought that collection. I should have said, nope, I'm going to buy it anyway. But I decided to be the nice person. I felt bad because Thayer had sold his cards because of the finance. He was in a bad place financially. And I was like, I feel bad that you had to sell everything. Fine, you could buy the collection. Just sell me the couple of cards I need. And I was actually going to offer him very good for those cards. At one point, he even stated he would give me cards for free, and I said no. Um, I don't know. Again, I've removed Thayer from my DMs, so hold on. Sorry, I thought I heard someone knocking at my door. I think it was for the neighbor, though. Let's talk about the Blu-rays. The Discord server deletion toxicity. Let's talk. The final straw for me regarding the Discord server, the damn Blu-rays I won on eBay. People were already throwing shade at me because of the Alliance boxes, because apparently I'm apparently greedy for wanting foil playsets. My collecting, I'm apparently greedy. Sure, that's fine. Anyway, auction on eBay appeared a couple of months back, seasons 2, 3, and 4 of the Blu-rays. I checked it out. Turned out the season 4 was actually the one with the reprint Dark one in it, and it was sealed. So I kept it on watch. As it was approaching the end of the auction, I noticed it was only at $60 or so. After some considerations, I went, you know what? I'm going to play some middle bid. So what does that mean? Value of the Dark was between $175 and $240 based on sales at that time. The value of the Blu-ray is $30 to $35. So each season was worth about $30, $35, somewhere in there. I decided I was going to bid $150 on it. I figured one of two things would happen. Bidder was interested in just the Blu-rays. $150 would be outside what they were willing to spend. They were never in it for the card. I'd win the auction. They just wanted the Blu-rays to open and watch. Or the bidder was interested in the dark one, and $150 would not win because it was worth more than that, and you were getting 2 Blu-rays, 3 Blu-rays technically on top of it. The value would have been over $200. $150 never would have won. And if they got it for $150, I'd be happy for them. Like, cool, you got it for a really great price. Congratulations. Scenario 1 ended up happening. The auction ended at $91. $30 per Blu-ray, which lines up exactly with previous sales, and I won the auction. So basically, the bidder who was bidding against me was only interested in the Blu-rays. He wasn't interested in the card. I was then called out publicly in the server a few minutes later by Jordan, also known as Provolone in the server. I guess DMs aren't a thing, huh? Oh no, Thayer already showed off that, DMs are bad, right? We might as well publicly have a debacle. And he asked me why I would bid. Because I can. I mean, if the other bidder was genuinely interested in the card, they would have beaten my price. But they didn't. I was just like, yeah, I won. Cool. Okay, and I was called an a-hole. I was called greedy. I was told how terrible of a person I am by a couple of individuals in the group. I believe it was Provolone. Guzman, I think, was involved in that as well. At this point, I realized no matter what I did, the community was going to be unhappy with me. And it wasn't really the community. I think that's overgeneralizing. It was just a few specific toxic individuals. I wasn't allowed to do anything without being attacked or penalized for it. I did, however, decide that I would sleep on that frustration and see how I felt the next day. I mean, it was such a nasty conversation. Karmic had to step in and like smooth things over a bit because I was getting pissed off. I was getting really mad. But I went to bed and I said, you know what? I'm probably going to end up deleting the server. This was the reason I didn't want a server in the first place. I felt that this is eventually what it could end up being. And, a cesspool, essentially. Yeah, that's what I wrote here, a cesspool. I thought it was going to become terrible, and I was right. I predicted this 2 years ago when I was asked to make a Discord group, and I went, nope. Karma can confirm my frustrations that night as I was DMing with him. I told him I had muted the server. I was tired of seeing the garbage that I kept bringing. So anyone that says Invisible was a crybaby who rage deleted the server because he didn't get cards, yeah, they're full of it. Thayer, I'm looking straight at you, buddy. No, I was tired of your toxic behavior. I was tired of the toxic behavior in the server by the supposed mature individuals and friendly individuals. Woke up the next morning, still didn't feel that good about how things played out the night before, opened Discord, and that's when I had that DM from Thyre about the collection, and where I made him feel terrible about him buying the collection. And I was just like, yeah, I was thinking about deleting the server anyway, even before this. Oh yeah, this is the right decision. These people are toxic. I was on my way to work, though. I wanted to prepare a statement a bit before I deleted the server that I was going to post on the forum, and I did just that. Got home, nuked the server, made my statement. So no, it didn't push me to delete the server. It only, so the collection thing, Thyre's message, it didn't push me to delete the server, I would say. I wouldn't say that that was like in addition to. It was more like, oh, well, no, I guess technically it was. But like it was more like, oh yeah, I'm making the right decision. And then I saw that and I went, oh yeah, I'm definitely making the right decision. Of course, that wasn't the only thing that happened. I've gone into details about a lot, but one thing that I didn't talk about was how some members were intentionally listing certain auctions at specific times in an attempt to undercut Karmic's auctions and prices. There were people that didn't like Karmic's prices on a couple of things, which is fine, but like they were like Karmic was listing up something, and then two people were working together to then list it up for less than him to try and hurt his sales. They wanted to hurt him financially. That's just disgusting. Um, I didn't put it here, but the folks behind that was Phil and Guzman. So gonna put that out there. But anyway, community was intentionally harming itself, slowly falling apart. I have to say though, making me the scapegoat for everything wrong with the community is kind of humorous. And here's a screenshot from Thyre's Discord server. Because Yu-Gi-Oh's the hotness right now, and Viz ruined Yu Hakusho for everyone. And Guzman, the sheeple, I mean, let's look at this icon here. That is literally, like, that's his icon. I'm not going to say much more than that, but I think it suits him very well. Laughing my ass off. Viz ruined YYH for everyone. Because I made sales. Hate to break it to you, but Thyre, your manipulative behavior, your lying, your toxicity, that ruined it. You really did. You really have negatively impacted the community in a way that it might never recover from. And the fact that you want to sit there and put it on me? Wow. Wow. I have to wonder how you sleep at night. Community had other plans, though. Few paragraphs, pages, I guess, at this point, up. I mentioned that I was sidestepping to explain a couple things, and so what else has happened since? So Thyre has decided he was going to tell people what I had told him in Karmic in confidence about the boxes. So we're going to get to that. He said it was his way of coming clean. The truth of the matter is, though, that was for his own self-satisfaction, and he was trying to make sure that, like, he wasn't the bad guy. He was like, I'm going to report this before anyone else does, because I know I'm going to look bad if it comes out later. So I'm going to be the first to report this. That was the purpose behind it. He was just trying to be the hero. Again, Thyre good and Vizzle bad. That was the whole purpose the entire time. That's all it was. Thyre good and Vizzle bad. So I'm putting this out there. Vizzle has an excess of alliance boxes, so if you guys end up buying any from him at 1K, you are warned. Fuzz Probe, that's insane. Guzman, is that a fact? 100%. Inward, yes. Fuzz Probe, so he's a straight up hoarder. I didn't really understand that comment. Karmic was like, I don't know how many he has an actual numerical count. Guzman said, I knew it. My theory was correct that I had over 40. Karmic was like, I don't know how. I've gotten rid of a lot of boxes at this point, so I don't have nearly that many anymore. And like a case of betrayal. My hands were tied with the info before. I felt just as terrible for not speaking up before. No, that is completely false. That is completely false. He didn't feel bad in the slightest. Oh, by the way, the reason you see this comment twice that he had over 40 thing is to prove that these conversations took place right after that. I was sent bigger screenshots, but I cropped them to make it this way because there were just things that didn't need to be included. Of course, and you know, they're upset that I denied it. I mean, what did you expect me to do? Be like, yeah, I have those boxes. Oh, all my prices just went down. Thanks, guys. No. So yeah, I'll completely take fault for that. If you think I should be faulted for that, that's fine. I've got no problem with that. I'll take that. That's cool. Does anyone know him in real life? That's a weird comment. When I was sent that, I was concerned actually. When I bought these boxes from the guy I bought them from, I had told him that I didn't want to make it public for a couple of reasons, but I said one of the reasons was that I was concerned that people might try to find me in real life. I mean, we're talking money here. Money, it doesn't matter if it's a couple of hundred or a couple of thousand. I didn't want to be a target. I didn't want to be a victim. So that comment right there was was part of the reason. And Thayer really didn't care about that. He had no issue with the fact that there could have been, someone could have robbed me. I could have faced bodily harm. And Thayer did not care about that. This is the kind of individual we are dealing with here. This is how twisted this guy is. He wanted to hurt me. It's as simple as that. As soon as it benefited him to say something, he did. There was not a moral epiphany where he realized the error of his ways or something poetic like that. He started talking about it as soon as he realized he could use it against me and avoid all blame. Again, guys, Thayer knew for months, and again, he was trying to help me conspire. And again, I wasn't trying to do that. I wasn't going to go around telling people I had boxes, but I wasn't like, how can I screw the community today with these boxes? It was never anything like that. And Thayer tried to make it sound like that's what it was, but that's just dishonest. That is not how it played out. And that, again, is Thayer just trying to... He's just being a terrible person. I am also going to point out that Thayer actually offered to buy all my boxes. At this point, I still had over 40 of them, and he offered me $10,000, which breaks down to $250 per box. And he was like, "Oh, I'm going to open them and I'm going to share the cards with the community." I firmly believe that this was a lie. And the reason I think it's a lie is because look what happened with the collection when he got the cards. He lied about what he was going to do with it. He says he's all about the community, but he's not. I firmly and genuinely believe he would have turned around and sold the boxes for thousands of dollars. I genuinely believe that. And again, we have, he did that to me with the collection. So there's already precedence there of him doing just that. So, yeah, I mean, it's there. I wonder if he deleted the Discord thinking I didn't take screenshots of everything already. This is proof that Thayer was conspiring against me long before the server went down. Anyway, he wants people on his side. And he'll say or do anything to get that. He had someone else post it instead in the Facebook group about the boxes. It's ironic because that poster, the guy who posted it, was also told about 2 cases of Alliance from a guy on Macari, a first edition and an unlimited case. And he just completely neglected to mention that because, Inviso bad, right? And Thayer went as far as even pinning it, and to this day, it's still pinned in the Facebook group, to my knowledge. And it's just they tried to make it sound like we are the heroes of this community. No, you're not. You're like Mark's dad in Invincible. You try to act like the hero, but the truth of the matter is, you're not. You're not the hero. You're actually the bad guy, and the people that like they should be concerned about. Here's the post. Hello, everyone. Today has been a bit of a transition point for the Yu Hakusho TCG community. This is the day I deleted the server. Feel free to join the newly created Discord server. It is filled with friendly people and great discussion. We're going to talk about friendly very soon. It has come to my attention through the previously mentioned Discord that an individual in the community has come into ownership of a large number of sealed Alliance boxes, approximately 40. I was the only one selling Alliance boxes at this point. He didn't need to put my name there. Obviously, people could put 2 and 2 together. Alliance is still a rare set, contents are still fairly valuable, so the box is still worth some decent money. With that said, I do think it is fair to share with those of you not in the Discord that this stock is out there. Sealed boxes demand a premium beyond their contents for their rarity. That's true. With this info, Alliance is likely no longer the set with the lowest count of sealed boxes available. That's actually, currently available. I would say Exile is probably the rarest. But I would still believe that Alliance is still overall the second rarest. there's been hundreds of Gateway, Dark Tournament, Ghost Files, and even Betrayal is up there with the number of boxes that have been posted and sold. I do think Alliance is the second rarest. I think a booster box for Exile is the rarest, not a blister, booster. I know many of you are on the lookout for Alliance content, so hopefully these boxes get to see the light of day so the entire community can benefit. If not, at the very least, hopefully this information can make people make an informed decision on the value they're willing to pay for an Alliance box in the future. Good luck with collecting. And then, Overtime / Sean with his troll posting. He's another one that I think is just, he's got the mental capacity of a teenager. 1K, keep the prices up, drive people out of collect. Like, what a stupid comment. By the way, one of the hearts on this was by Thyre, and then he pinned it. The money people spent will be in vain. For these people, I feel bad. You know, the people like Melissa who dropped a ton of money on this. This kind of announcement just hurts people like her. I didn't want to disrupt the market, but other people wanted to. They wanted the market disrupted, and they were like, "No, we will sacrifice the community to make sure you don't make money." That was essentially how it went down. We will sacrifice the community to bring you down. Okay. I mean, whatever. I'll adjust my prices based on demand, and I did do that. You'll see that soon. The friendly community. Let's talk about the friendly community. These people are so friendly, guys. So this portion is now, it's going to be snippets and might not tie in directly from one thing to the next. Guzman. Hugo seems like a fun guy at parties. Thyre. He looks like that old guy that buys underage kids liquor to hang out with them. Seems to be a theme going on here. So what was this about? In one of the arguments between me and Thyre, Hugo stepped in and was like, dude, you instigated this fight. Stop. Like, you're an administrator. You're supposed to be the one that's better than everyone else. And you're acting even more childish than the people in the community. So yeah, this is the friendly Discord. This is how they talk about people in the community in their Discord. I find Thyre's comment to just be weird. There was also another comment where he starts bringing up 12-year-olds. We'll talk about that later too. It was like, oh, that's a weird comment to say. And the whole fact that he says the whole theme thing, we'll talk about that later. But this was just such a cringe comment. It really was. Like, I actually cringed when I saw this. It was just weird. Next one is super long. This is going to take up a couple of pages. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on this. Hopefully you can read this. Oh, I'm zoomed in. Anybody looking for card images? At this point, I had taken the database down. People were talking terribly about my database. We'll talk about that later too. But you can find images there. Kyle says, where's the post about that getting taken down? I saw it, but I can't find it now. Guy named David replies, probably got removed by the poster. Kyle's like, did anyone catch the reason? Thyre responded saying the reason was because they wanted to. They got called out by someone via DM and they got upset over it. I'm the one that was running the database, by the way, and the card image library, which are back up. Feel free to check the description for those. So I responded saying, apparently I built the database and card image library for my own personal gains, so people could overlook my terrible collecting habits. Literally, that was what was told me. We'll show the screenshot of that later. I figure if people can't play with their toys nicely, then I'm just not going to leave the toys out for you to play with. If you're going to sit there and bash a database that I spent hours and hours and hours of my time completely free and did voluntarily, okay, I'll just take it away. It's as simple as that. That's, like, you can't sit there and talk poorly about something and then get upset when it's taken from you. Like, if you're sitting there talking, like, if as a child, if you say, I don't like that toy, it's stupid, and your parent took it away, you're getting upset. Why? You said you didn't like the toy. You didn't like the toy, I took it away, and now you're upset. So I responded to Kyle, okay? So let's let that be noted here. I was responding to Kyle. I didn't even acknowledge Thyre. Thyre then responds to me. You also threatened someone today, apparently with a cease and desist over images you don't own the copyright to. We're going to talk about that later. That's at the end of this. So I had to reply to him at this point. Let's make it clear. The scans are mine. The scans were my project. That was my project. And other big sites like RetroDBZ and CCG Trader and things like that, they asked permission before using my images. Like a company or a person that doesn't want to end up in legal trouble. You can't take someone else's work and upload it as your own without their permission. Those scans were my work. The cards are in my possession. Sure, the cards themselves technically belong to Score Entertainment, but those were my cards. Those were my scans. It was my project. So at this point, I was just being a little bit of a troll. I was like, I understand you're likely upset over this, but you could create your own. I did ask nicely for it to be removed, and it was ignored. So, like my God-given right, like the United States says, you're allowed to defend your property. Can you differentiate yours from any other hands online? Aside from the dark ones you own, of course, since those have cat hair on them. So here you are insulting my card image library, the same one that you wanted open. And you're sitting there insulting the quality of my scans. I am not a professional scanner by any means necessary. I did the best that I could, okay? I did the best that I could. And if that's not good enough for you, F you. Seriously, F you. So I'm not upset, but don't harass anyone with baseless claims again, or I'll just remove you. Baseless first of all, I didn't harass anyone. And baseless claims, let's be realistic. Was the library taken down when I said so? No. So that is not baseless, and that is not harassing. I am well within my legal rights to demand it be taken down. It is not yours. So, I can actually, but I won't explain how. And yes, I do have a way to differentiate my scans from anyone else's. So if you think otherwise, sorry, not sorry, but I know. I made a simple request. It was ignored. As such, but is within my legal rights. I took it up a notch. Had my very fair request been respectfully fulfilled the first time, I wouldn't have had to go the route of a cease and desist. He goes, I mean, you can go for it, I guess. The links were removed without my knowledge anyway. Dog hair, maybe? Either way, it's an awful scan. This is coming from the guy whose group has one of the lowest quality pictures I've ever seen for a theme photo ever. Anyway, if you really want to hire a lawyer and C&D over scans that you're not entirely sure are yours, I would say go ahead. They were publicly posted via a database before, so if they were yours, I fail to see your point. You seem to stir up a lot of issues daily, though. Actually, no, that wasn't me. That was all Thyre. We'll show more of those. And you've already seen all those, some of them above. And don't cry to me if we decide to remove you. There's no we here. Let's be realistic. Thyre is the only one that makes decisions. So even if there's an issue with him, he has another admin, but he won't speak to that admin. He'll just do what he thinks is right. He goes, it's basically like this. It's kind of like this, okay? The police are investigating the police for wrongdoing, and the police have found that the police did not wrongfully do anything. Listen to yourself there. That's called bias. You cannot sit there and claim to be non-biased over a situation that directly involves you. Anyway, they were removed. That's all I care about. Let's be crystal clear. I didn't tag and reply to you. You replied to me. How could I be stirring trouble when it was you who initiated this conversation? I replied to Kyle, not you. Let's be straight on that. Let's go back up. Who replied to who? I replied to Kyle. Thyre replied to me. So it looks like I'm telling the truth. Huh. Funny how that works. Then this Justin guy comes in. He's never posted in the group once, even before this. I have no idea who he is. But clearly he was spoon-fed information by Thyre and he believed it without any proof. So I'm going to ignore that. Because I have to get messages about you daily. I am sure that's fabricated. This is all the guy does. He lies over and over and over and over again. I sincerely doubt people were actually messaging him about me. So to sit there and say that you get messages daily, he's lying. He's lying. I also never saw any screenshots of this, so I could also just remove it if you want to. Tired of being stressed out over what you're going to be petty about the next day. But I'm the petty one. Who replied to who here and who started the argument? It wasn't me. You're the one that's being petty all the time. Then don't tag me when you don't need to. He spoke to me. I didn't speak to him. He spoke to me. And then he's getting upset that I replied. You're missing the point. I feel because you notice you have no actual argument. Okay. Really can't believe someone at your age is acting like this. I don't know how you're not embarrassed. This video is going to embarrass you so badly. Then this Platt guy starts making stupid posts as well. Tell Thyre's side without bothering to get both sides of it. They say how petty I'm being. I mean, look at this. Look at it. Look, the community thinks I suck. I'll make this better by taking away my database. That'll show them. Wahaha. I expect this. This is childish. At this point, I sat there and I went, "Oh my god, you are what? How could you like? This is cringe." I don't care what anyone says. This is so incredibly cringe. I literally cringed when I saw this. So all I said was, scroll up, see who started talking to who. It certainly didn't start with me talking to you. I replied to you directly since you seem to not be telling the whole truth about the situation. Which is not going to happen. Tyler, this is what Tyler's doing. This is called projection. When you're doing something and you know it's wrong, so you say somebody else is doing it in order to feel better about you doing it. I mean, I have screenshots, and there's more to go. You know that was a reply tag, and you should be replying, anyway, unless you shouldn't be, maybe? I don't know. The guy sucks at writing. I wish you would go ahead and remove the guy. Again, Justin has never spoken a word to me. I don't know who this guy is. He had literally just joined the group. And he says, I haven't been here for long, but I'm ready to dip because it seems like half the myself for the group involved this dude looking for attention. I mean, if you want to sit there and be stupid, you're more than welcome to. I stopped replying for the most part at this point. The only thing I replied to, hold on, let's see, it keeps bothering everyone. I didn't bother anyone, actually. Won't leave on his own. He thinks everyone here likes him or something. No, and I don't like you either. The people that I like know that I like them, and that's fine. I don't like you, though, Tyler. I think you're a terrible human being. I think that you are such a small man. I mean, calling you a man is a bit of an overstatement. You're just a small, insecure, insignificant person. That is what you are. Anyway, I just said you're hilarious. The word truth should not be coming out of your mouth. I did that man today out of respect to the other admin who helps us with the charity work, because I feel I was trying to power over something stupid like this. He eventually ends up changing his mind on this. No, I just think you didn't tell the truth because you are greedy. I never said I would sell you some ridiculous amount of cards. Yes, he did, actually, numerous times. And I said, says the guy who has a dark one at 1,600 at the price guide. You have never been sold one for, and I also just bought one back at 3,000. But he never actually. There's no proof of this. There's nothing out there at all. He never uploaded. There's no picture, And fine, if you don't want to show it, that's fine. But then you can't tell me I have to show my stuff. You can't put the person who bought mine did not want that info out. Just like I didn't want my info out, and you put it out there anyway. You are such a hypocrite. Such a hypocrite. And it was like, he was literally like, what? What? So let me get this straight. You decided you could put my information out there, and you decided that you don't want your information out there, and then blamed me when I put you did it to me. If you did it to me, of course I'm going to do it to you. What's fair is fair. That's all about equality. Do unto others as you would like others to do unto you. That's the golden rule. If you don't want people to do something to you, don't do it to someone else. And you did. So I did it to you, and I don't feel bad in the slightest about it. I actually honor business transactions. That's a lie. And don't annoy people with other things unless they give in. Sound familiar? Again, this is a lie. This is a lie. He's such a liar. He's such a liar. I'll show this quote in just a second, where he admits that he just looks to start fights with me. And then the 16 copies thing, we'll get to that soon. This post is grayed out because I reported it to Facebook. I doubt they did anything. He calls me a selfish, P word, and will say it to your face. No, you won't. You won't say it to my face. Because if we were standing face to face right now, you wouldn't say nothing to me, buddy. No one has anything nice to say about you in the new Discord after what you did. Again, more lying, more fabricating. Most people just didn't care. It was only like 2 or 3 people that were like, oh, about it. And then this Platt guy is a troll. I banned him from my forum. I unfortunately made the mistake of selling him a halt for a good price. I regret that immensely. If I had seen these comments before I sent it in the mail, he would have gotten a refund and I would have told him off. And then I reply about it being a made-up number about the 16. Let's talk about that. Hold on, let's zoom out a little bit. Okay. That was a lot to take in. We're not done yet. Let's talk about the 16 copies of cards. This is yet another fabrication made by Thayer to try and make me look bad. And let's peek at some more. My idea is if we have tournaments where we have proxies made out of staples to give us prizes that can be used at events, altered art. It's hard to get cards from the biggest collector has 16 copies of everything, attributing to people not being able to make decks. And here's the important one. And yes, I'm gonna take a shot at Inviso every chance I get. This is an administrator, guys. The administrator in the friendly Discord server. This is the behavior. He's a selfish P-word. My only talent is starting. Yeah, that is your only talent. You are an aggressor. And he admits it here, that he is the aggressor. He admitted it. I don't have 16 copies of everything. I uploaded my yearly collection video last month. You could watch it. It shows most of everything I own. Not everything. The whole 16 copies of every card thing, fabricated. That is a lie. Gateway is the only set I come close, and there are a couple of cards I have 16 copies of in Gateway, mainly the Spirit Pack cards. Those are the only cards I have 16 copies of. 4 DRs, 4 Line, 4 Cloudy, 4 Jagged. But there's still plenty of them out there. And people believed him. I'm not going to make my inventory public. I'm not going to do that. I don't have to, so get over it. But yeah, I mean, I show a lot of my collection in that video. And keep in mind, half of what I own are non-foils. So, very easy to get cards. Let's talk about the line. And yes, I'm going to take a shot at Inviso every chance I get. But again, this is the friendly community. There's always, let's look at this screenshot again. People have been accusing Inviso of stuff. Cynic is a stir. I constantly called him out, making myself, no. This is Thayer's version of calling people out. No. Taking a shot at someone who isn't even talking to you. Yeah, that makes you a shit stirrer. And you admitted it too. You admitted that you're the aggressor. Pretty much almost every fight that happened between me and Thayer, he instigated. Unreal. But don't worry, guys. This is the friendly server. Don't make money or challenge Thayer's ego, and you'll be fine. Let's continue talking about the friendly server. This was a follow-up to one of the arguments. Are you having people join the Discord to feed you info, though? You can join it yourself if you really want. That's a lie. I would have been banned as soon as I joined. It was more of a, hey, by the way, they did this or said this. I said, I haven't really asked anything about the server because genuinely, if you want to be a child, you can be a child. I'm better off not knowing. I don't plan to join, though. I never did join. Definitely feels like they just joined for the purpose, which is fine. But if you're going to have people joining the server, then I appreciate you telling them to just leave. So wait a minute. You want me to join the server and see everything in person, but the people leaking have to leave. Do you see that logic there? And understand why I don't believe him that, like, oh, you could just join it. No, you would have abused your power on me. You would have insulted me. I'm not about that life. This was another different comment, not banning you. I just want for us to be civil and squash things. What's done is done. I don't really want to stress over this. Keep everything strictly cards, which I did, mind you. On the page, sound okay. If you have any other announcements, use your other mediums, which I did, and he abused that too. I said, and my response was simple. I said, don't lie about me. That's all I ask. Why are you talking about me? Again, we saw above. He instigated that argument, and then he turned around and said, I want to be civil. You can't sit there and say, I want to be civil when you're starting fights. And it was just ridiculous. I don't have enough energy to deal with you, but I didn't lie about you. And I want to make that clear. You didn't lie about me. 16 copies of everything. You didn't lie about me. Okay? Sure. And then he makes another threat here. And then he's like, the stress was not caused by me. You were the point of stress because you got too defensive. I got too defensive. You pick a fight. And I responded, I got defensive. That's like kicking a freaking beehive and going, I don't understand why the bee stung me. All I did was kick their hive. No big deal. Wow. And then he has the nerve to turn around and say, I did more damage. Buddy, you are the only one that has... No, that's not true. There's more than just him. But he is the main source of damage in this community. I just want bygones to be bygones. I'm not hunting for trouble. I'm just hunting for cards. None of my recent posts have violated the rules, and I never deterred from that. My threads never violated the rules. I didn't like that people were sending me things from his free to join server, blah, blah, blah. We both know he wasn't. He says he wants to resolve things. That's not his intention. Here's more from the friendly server. The friendly server, 16 for my binder, 4 for display. More fabrications. Whoa there, Inviso, says Jordan, aka Provolone. Clown emoji, me as Inviso. This is the guy that said, I just want to resolve things. And he's making posts like this. This is the guy that wants to resolve things and is innocent of everything. Yeah, okay. He wants there to be peace. Right. Let's look at more. Someone posted a screenshot, a pic, of what happened in the regular Yu page. And Texas Corn was like, "Is that wait what?" And it was like, "No, it was just that Kai pic, but that's probably how Inviso was. Someone made that and put it in the regular fan page about an hour ago." What? So here he is, being a petulant little child once more. And yet he's the good guy, right? He's the good guy. He's not looking for trouble. He's mature. He knows how to handle things. He wants to squash things. He wants things to be civil. This is being posted publicly in a server. The friendly server, guys. The friendly server. I'm the bad guy, though. Again, Thyre good, Inviso bad. I don't have a pic of the card on hand. I don't feel like using Inviso's database for a few reasons. One, that he scanned cards, couldn't keep cat hair or whatever out of a scanner. More BS. I actually would have posted on Instagram because I'm tired of him BSing about card rarity. It's almost infuriating. So here he is admitting that he does look at my Instagram. That's going to be important later. But I don't want to get another message explain how everything is my fault. Everything is your fault. Let's make that very crystal clear here. Everything is your fault. You are a terrible person. But yeah, it was this kind of stuff that made me close the database. I reopened it 3 months later. But yeah, conversation with the guy who made public knowledge about my boxes. Oh yeah, so let's talk about this. So this backstory here, this is Jordan. He posted in a group looking for a dark one, offered to pay something like $1,000 for it. Unsigned. He was looking for an unsigned one. I posted on it saying, didn't a signed one just sell for $3,000? And the thread was immediately deleted. And then I received this message a little bit later. Yo, I think we need to have a... Let's make that a little bit bigger. Yo, I think we need to have a talk. I saw your recent comment and decided to delete the post. Your intentions were strongly implied. I refuse to bring drama into a broader group. I could have responded with something nasty about your Alliance box fiasco. That said, I am messaging here because I refuse to behave that way. Oh, you didn't have a problem putting my stuff out there in public, though, right? More than happy to pay fair value at or above 3K if it ends up that way. With that said, no unsigned have sold for that value. Which is true. And more importantly, both sets of 3K were requested to be kept private. So your post was not only containing details others didn't want aired, but also what comes across as a thinly veiled attempt to maximize what I end up paying for the card. In the future, I would recommend at least providing a range for accuracy and for the privacy of those who have completed sales. We'll get to this. Hold on. We're getting there. I'm getting there. It seems you've beef with me. Oh, I can only wonder why. It's not like you posted my private transactions publicly. I assume you may be responsible for inciting the initial discussion around your unnecessary purchase of the Blu-ray. No, I mean, that didn't help. Or potentially do the Alliance box post. Yeah, that would be the one. So background on that. The post was made after discussing with other group members within the new Discord that the information should be made broadly available. Your attempts to keep them hidden were purposely deceitful. Okay. If you disagree, there are screenshots showing your intentions. I would love to see these screenshots. And statements by you wanting to maximize profit from the previous Discord's admin chat. Yeah, of course I'd want to maximize profit if I'm selling. Duh, that's good business. With that said, I've made a point to remain steadfast in my beliefs while also remaining as fair as possible. No, you haven't. I refrained from using your name and have supported not posting the screenshots of you bragging about the boxes and how people would riot if they knew within the FB group. Yeah, I think I remember saying that about the whole rioting thing. That wasn't because of what people were paying for the boxes. I said that they would riot because there's so many of them out there now. And then the prices would end up dropping, which that's why I didn't really want it out there, but You know, I'm not allowed to make money. Everybody else is. I'm not allowed though. Okay. This could have been a much worse for your public image, as certain people made knee-jerk reactions, like deleting a Discord rather than handing over the reins. And I think you may be overlooking that. Yeah, you didn't make a knee-jerk reaction. You didn't the next day make a post about my boxes. No, there was no knee-jerk reaction. I have my own past issues with the SK1, which I've publicly admitted is something I regret. So what happened was, he did exactly what Salvador did. He posted up an SK1 Yusuke for $1,000, and it sold. That's the difference. It sold. And then they had the nerve to bash Salvador for doing the exact same thing. Interesting. In either case, I took responsibility for what went down. Move forward. For me, believe it or not, you are not being bullied by myself and others. Oh, there's a ton of screenshots that say otherwise. You made a choice. Others have responded. Somewhat personal attacks took place on the Discord in the last day, and those were unacceptable, and not by myself. Okay. I've always tried to remain transparent, that I do not love how you collect. Also trolling you about 8 copies, etc., but you've never attacked or made a point to interfere with your ability to collect. That part's actually true. I'll give him that. I was the same of the opinion with time. Something can blow over. No, it won't. And an amicable counter resolution. No, it won't. You're an adult. Make your own choices, but I hope in the future don't continue unfolding this way, as it is not ideal. So I did respond to this. I'm going to keep this brief. Y'all had zero issues making that post in the FB group and even pinning it. But then the exact same thing is done to you, and now suddenly you see an issue with it. Either you guys want everything public or everything private. You don't get to pick and choose. My post specified that it was a legit copy that went for $3,000. I did specify that in my post, and he was looking for an unsigned. So let's make that clear. I never said anything about the unsigned, and like your thread, I didn't post pictures, didn't name names, nothing. You can be upset with me if you want, but you guys did the exact same to me. So as far as I'm concerned, I did nothing wrong. Again, you kick a beehive, the bees sting you. You get upset? Then you shouldn't have kicked the beehive. Speaking of knee-jerk reactions, talk about but you deleted your post instead of keeping it up. That was kind of funny. I mean, that was kind of a knee-jerk reaction. You're being extremely hypocritical. You didn't interfere with how I collect. You made a public post that you got pinned to interfere with what I sell. Yeah. So you didn't interfere with how I collect, but you're interfering with my sales. Tomato, tomato? Sure. Best of luck. I said, and that I will not be replying to future responses. He did respond. I didn't, but he did. Man, you're something else. I clearly described the differences and refused to hear them. Oh no, I heard them. I'm telling you that you're stupid. And you're wrong. I made the FB group post after a group of the most active members agreed it was worth letting everyone know. Oh, because it was a group, it was okay. Yeah. No, you don't get to sit there and sit in a committee and go, let's see. I see that Inviso has made a sale. We should publicize that. Sire, I see that you made a sale. We're not going to publicize that, though. We don't want you looking bad. We want Inviso to look bad. Yeah. If you believe nothing else, hopefully you can see how one person's preference to post private info versus community-wide agreement are distinct. Yeah, okay. The same people you worked with for years, literally everyone, except Cormac, I will note for full transparency, thinks you were being purposely slimy. I don't care. It's in the screenshots. Again, what screenshots? It's not something that can be denied. I still haven't been sent these screenshots that supposedly exist. I would love to see those. Please, post them. You made statements showing your intentions were not pure, and you're mad you got caught. No, I'm mad that my private information was put out there publicly, just like you got mad that I did that to you. Funny how that works. If you didn't want to share, you probably shouldn't have bragged to others. Yeah, I should not have told Thyre. Carmick was fine. Thyre, though, I didn't realize how much of a man-child he was, and how immature he is, and how much of just a terrible person he is. Had I known, I never would have done that. If you were transparent but Exos remained silent, maybe you could draw a comparison. I did say that. But that is not the case. That's false. That is completely false. I did say that. I did ask him to not, please don't post this publicly. And he did. You're trying to keep a secret for personal gain while the people who bought Dark Ones asked for privacy for their expense. Lost. He even admits that they lost. Literally the opposite. No, shut up. You're an inconsiderate man. I'm the inconsiderate man-child. For being willing to air others' private information to get at me. Sure, child. The exact same thing is far from... Actually, it's exactly the same. I clearly outlined why I explained the post, and it had very little to do with you. Let's look here. I deleted the post because your intentions were strongly implied, and I refused to bring drama into the group. It sounds like you deleted it because of me, buddy. Self-absorbed. I'm apparently self-absorbed. I deleted because you posted private. That's not what you said the first time. It's nothing hypocritical. Yeah, okay. Okay, let's keep going. You made a tour decision from greed, and it's biting you. No, I've made plenty of money on my boxes, actually. So, yeah, sucks to suck, I guess, huh? You could have made solid profit. Still am. Alright, so it appears there's a 2-hour limit on videos, and this is actually my second time recording this because I unfortunately missed crossing out, blocking a couple of last names, so I guess I'm remaking this part of the video. So we had left off with, this stuff, right? And this message from Jordan. So I believe we had gone through the first paragraph. So it seems you have beef with me. I assume it's in response to me inciting the initial discussion on your unnecessary purchase of the Blu-ray. Nope. Potentially due to the Alliance FB box post. That was the reason. Yes. So background on that. The post was made after discussing with other group members within the new Discord. Once it came out that you do have something you blatantly denied, that the information should be made broadly available. So let's understand this, guys. I'm not allowed to put other people's transactions publicly, but they're allowed to put my transactions publicly. That seems fair. Well, that sucks. For you. Yeah, no. Your attempts to keep them in were purposely deceitful. Not really. I just didn't want to screw up the market, but okay. And yeah, I wanted to, I had an opportunity to make money, wouldn't you? Duh. There are screenshots showing your intentions. I've yet to see a single screenshot. I honestly feel like this is fabricated, or it's just things that were posted that are being twisted by Thayer. I've not seen anything, and the person that was sending me stuff from the server didn't see anything either. So it sounds like it might be fabricated. Maximize profit. I mean, there's nothing wrong with making money. Oh, actually, there's something wrong with me making money. My apologies. I'm not allowed to make money, but they are. Just keep that in mind, all right? Friendly Discord server, guys. Friendly server. I refrain from using your name. You didn't have to use my name. I'm the only one selling Alliance. Duh. 1 + 1 is 2. I've even supported not posting the screenshots of you bragging about the boxes. Again, I still haven't seen these screenshots. Post them. Post them. How people would riot if they knew within the FB group. Yeah, so that's being taken out of context. I remember the riot comment. I said that people would riot because of the amount of boxes I had, not because of me, not because of the money or anything, that they would go nuts, like, oh my god, there's all this product out there? That's what I meant by the riot comment. I remember that one. So yeah, I did say something like that, but not like that. This could have been much worse for your public image, if certain people made knee-jerk reactions, like deleting a Discord rather than handing over the reins. We'll talk about that. I think you may be overlooking it. I didn't overlook anything. You just didn't know everything. I have my own past issues with the SK1, Yusuke. So what happened there was he posted one up for $1,000. Sound familiar, right? Salvador did the same thing, except his sold. Salvador's didn't. Yeah. And it was like, well, there was a fundamental difference in my approach. I was testing the market and ended up making a crazy sale. Okay. So it's bad when other people do it, but when you do it, it's okay. Yeah. Okay. I took responsibility for what went down and moved forward from it. Sure. Whether you believe it or not, you are not being bullied by myself and others. We don't need to say anything about that. You made a choice. Others responded with their feelings. They did a lot more than that, buddy. Somewhat personal attacks took place on the Discord in the last day, and those were unacceptable. I've always tried to remain transparent in that. I do not love how you collect, often trolling you about your 8 copies, but never attacked you or made a point to interfere with your ability to collect. He's telling the truth there. He never interfered with my ability to collect, but he did interfere with my selling. So, I was of the opinion that this whole thing could blow over in an amicable resolution can be reached so everyone gets along. That's not possible when Thayer is involved. You're an adult, you make your own choices, but I hope in the future things don't continue to flow the way it is as it is. Not ideal. For who? You might not read this, probably because, yeah. I'm going to keep this brief. This was my only response. Y'all had zero issues making that post on the Facebook group and even pinning it. So this is essentially what happened. It was like, I kicked the beehive, and the bees stung me. Why did they do that? Like, what did you expect to happen? You don't get to sit there and do something to someone and then get upset that someone turns around and does the exact same thing to you. If you didn't want it happening to you, you shouldn't have done it to someone else. That's the golden rule, and I follow that. Do unto others as you would like others to do unto you. But then the exact same thing is done to you, and now suddenly you see an issue with it. Either you guys want everything public or everything private. You can't pick and choose to suit your own needs. My post specified that it was the legit signed copy that went for $3,000, not the unsigned one. I never said anything about an unsigned copy, and like a thread, I didn't post pictures, name names, nothing. You can be upset if you want, but at the end of the day, they did the exact same thing to me. So if you have no issue with what you did, then why do you have an issue with me doing it? I don't, you see, that's a little hypocritical. You can't do it to someone else and then get upset when it's done to you. You didn't interfere with how I collect. You made a public post that you got pinned to interfere with what I sell. So get out of here with that. Best of luck in your future collecting. If you choose to reply, feel free to. I won't be. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm an angel. I'm not. But, screw you. This was his response. I didn't respond to this because I said I wasn't going to respond again, and I didn't. Man, you're something else. I clearly described the differences, and you refuse to hear them. Oh no, I heard them. I just think it's stupid and just wrong. I made the FB post after a group of people. Oh, so if a group of people agree that it's okay, then it's okay. But the masters at the table didn't agree that it was the right thing to do. So, what a complete pile of crap that was. I hope you can see the difference how one person's preference to post private info versus a community agreement are distinct. There's no distinction at all. At the end of the day, did you post private information? Yes or no? You did. And you're upset that someone did the same to you. That's a fact. There's no denying it. You are upset that it happened to you. The same people you worked with for years, literally everyone except Karmic, thinks you were being purposely slimy. I don't care if that's what you think. Again, this video is not here to change your mind. This video is informational. It's in the screenshots. It's not something that can be denied. You literally made statements showing your intentions were not pure and you're mad you got caught. Again, I'm still waiting on these screenshots. I would love to see them. Product existing was made public. If you didn't want it shared, you shouldn't have bragged to others. There's a lot I could say about that. If you were transparent but access to remain silent, maybe you could draw a conclusion. I was transparent with Thayer and Karmic. I was. Thayer did the exact same thing. So to sit there and say that's not the case, that's just factually incorrect. You're trying to keep a secret for personal gain. Okay. While the people who bought Dark Ones asked for privacy. I asked for privacy. Oh, but my privacy doesn't matter. Right? That doesn't matter to you. That doesn't matter. Get out of here. You're an inconsiderate man-child for being willing to air other private info to get at me. Okay. Exact same thing is far from accurate. No, I think it's pretty accurate. If you can't understand that, I just outlined it. I also clearly explained why I deleted the post. Had very little to do. Yo, I think we need to have a talk. I saw your recent comment, decided to delete the post. Your intentions were strongly implied, and I refused to bring drama into another group. So you deleted the post because of me. Oh, but no, you deleted the post because I posted others' private info. You said that the first time. Oh, no, you didn't. You should have at least listed a range for accuracy and privacy. Okay. Nothing hypocritical there. Just respecting the wish of others. Okay, my wish doesn't matter, though. Hypocrite is someone who acts like they care, whose action only cares about their own collection. AKA you. Beautifully, by your own actions, now the most influential community members know and don't care for you. Great, I don't care about them either. You made a poor decision from greed and it's biting you in the ass. Nah, I think I'm okay. You could have made solid profit. I have, and gotten those boxes to the community and everyone would be happy. Okay. Instead, you have proven you are a terrible community member, only out for yourself. If that's what you want to think, I have an entire database that says otherwise. Have been the whole time, but this time it was too apparent for people to overlook. Database, pictures, Instagram, help people overlook your unfortunate collecting preference, but not this time. Wow. Yeah, you're right. I made the database. I did the card image library. I have an Instagram and a YouTube platform solely because I want to make sure people don't find out about my collecting preferences or to overlook it, right? That's why I did all of that. Wow. This is actually the comment that got me to delete the, not delete, to close the database for a while. Because I was like, oh, that's what you want to say? That's what you think? Okay, big fella, I'm going to close it out. And I'm going to say that it was your fault. Okay? You care about your hobby enough to produce those things and the small amount of attention they get you. At this point, he's just trying to make it sound like my database isn't used. I have the analytics running on that. It gets views. And still be a bad member of the community, and now everyone knows that's the case with you, and not deny your final point. It did not interfere with their collecting. Thank you. But happily did interfere with letting you carry out a premeditated scheme to milk the community you had garnered trust from for personal gain. Again, Inviso, you're not allowed to make the money. You're not allowed to, Inviso. Don't you dare. Don't. I'm watching you. You're not allowed to make money. No, no, no. You had some form of friends. Your people were not my friends. And community here, and now you don't. Again, yeah, no, your people were not my friends. We've seen enough comments to show that you weren't. So I hope your collection brings you joy. Actually, it does. I love my collection, and I love, for me, it's all about completing the collection. I really enjoy it. I don't collect for other people. I collect for me. It's my favorite card game. So, I mean, to sit there and say something like that, yeah, my collection brings me plenty joy. It is literally one of my proudest achievements, in the sense of hobby collecting and things like that. I'll continue enjoying the hobby, enjoying the company of a great set of people. I'm sorry for laughing, I'm sorry. And not being thought of as a dirtbag by an entire community. We'll see how the community thinks about you after this video. Again, not meant to change your mind, just meant to inform. This guy is the one that promoted the friendly community, guys. They're very friendly. Let's go back to Thayer. Thayer creeped on my posts in a Yu-Gi-Oh group called Zodiac Duelist. Attempted to start a fight with me because I responded to the topic? I mean, that sounds ridiculous, right? So, anyone have an S-tier find like this? So this guy was showing off a purchase he made. Huge purchase. He spent only a couple $100, and easily he could make thousands in profit. Easily. So congrats to you, Tyler. His topic. Anyone have an S-tier find like this? This is a topic where they're asking you to post your S-tier finds. I think that's pretty clear. Guy named Diego responded. I responded, yeah, I had something big a few months ago. Got a lot of silk product for a price I couldn't pass up. Wasn't for Yu-Gi-Oh, though. And then Phil comes in. We need the full details. Who from? How much? Make a behind-the-scenes tell-all on your YouTube channel. No. I don't have to do that. So I responded, your buddies already have the details. I was being an a-hole. And then nobody tagged him. Completely different group. Thayer comes out of nowhere. Yeah, but your buddies here don't. And then I ignored Phil's response here, and I said, that's cool. I had no interest in having another fight with him. I really didn't. It was exhausting me to have to go back and forth with this man-child. You felt the need to brag. Should brag about the whole thing. We're looking at the title of this post, right? It's literally, please brag about the cool things you've gotten for awesome prices. That's the purpose of the post. But Mr. Big Fella was so focused on coming after me, he completely overlooked it. I responded, you're literally just looking for trouble, like you always do. He goes, go on. I said, dude, I'm not bothering you, so don't bother me. Simple as that. Again, like above, let bygones be bygones, man. I tried. I really tried. And then, this is such a cringe comment. You bother most people. You're like that 45-year-old guy that hounds 12-year-olds at locals for their one rare card that you want. That's such a cringe comment. Like, I actually cringed when I read this, and I didn't respond to him, and I reported him to the administrators at that point. But yeah, that was just weird. That was a weird comment. But according to Thayer, I started this fight. I was just responding to the OP. I did nothing wrong. I really didn't do anything wrong. This was him being aggressive, being an instigator, not something an administrator should be doing. I reached out to the mods. They nuked the entire thread. I'm glad I took screenshots when I did. But remember, I'm the problem here, guys. How dare I respond to a topic? Let's take a peek at this thing one more time. It looks like that old guy that buys underage kids liquor to hang out with them. Seems to be a theme going on here. There is a theme. You're cringy. And you're just a creep. Like, that's such a cringy comment. Like, ew, ew, ew. Let's move on. Another comment. This was posted by Thayer. For some reason his name's not in this, but this was Thayer's post in the Discord server. I want a bullseye for 15 bucks. So what happened was this guy has said he had some UU cards. I saw some cards that I liked. I was like, how much do you want for them? He said, $15. And I was like, sure, I'll take it for 15. And then, we'll talk about that in a second. I want a bullseye for $15. He knows Apollo needs one. And then I don't remember on his list that he's buying out of spite. Guzman, of course, comes in out of nowhere with his famous icon. This is what caused the whole blow up. He didn't have to buy this. Again, who are you to tell me what to buy and not buy? Get out of here. Like, just leave. Like, leave me alone, man. Yeah, and he's welcome to make that cash. Business is business. I don't think he goes about it in an honest way. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? I don't understand. What's the honest way? Please tell me what the honest way is. I buy something, I resell it. What's dishonest about that? Oh, because I didn't tell everyone how much product I have? Welcome to the real world, buddy. I don't have to tell you. Just rubs me the wrong way. I'm not the only one. I think the resentment reached screw over the time. So let's talk about this. He knows Apollo needs one, seems to be buying out of spite. Mighty bold of you to say, but no, I don't memorize people's lists, and I don't spend money to spite people. Listen, he might be childish enough to actually do that, but I'm an adult. I have responsibilities. I'm not going to spend money to spite people. That's stupid. That's so stupid. This is a shameful bashing done to me because I bought cards that I wanted for a side collection. Apparently, if Thayer didn't approve of it, I can't do it, guys. That's so stupid. As an FYI, the card had heavy smoke damage. Both of them did, which is why it was as cheap as it was. But, you didn't bother to follow up on that. Just wanted to make it look bad. Lions box post. A couple of weeks ago, I made a Lions box post in Thayer's group. Right, this was just before I got banned. I had it priced at 900. These were some of the responses. Phil said 400. Fine, whatever. Lowest one that sold that was damage was 900. Looking to get that range. If there's cards involved, I'm willing to take money off. But you have so many. I got them basically for free. See, and it's that kind of comment. That's the reason I didn't want, people to, know about all the boxes. That was another reason, I should say. It was just that's part of it. That's what people wanted. Oh, well, you got it for so cheap. You should sell it to me for cheaper. And the thing is, I don't have to do that. And I did that to Thayer. I was like, I know you got it for 900, man. And at the end of the day, it's his decision to sell it or not. Not mine. My decision was, I'm not going to sell it at that price. Sorry. I'd rather keep it. And I'm allowed to do that. If Thayer had responded to me about the uncut sheet, the DR uncut sheet with that response, I'd have hated it, but what can you do? At the end of the day, it's his sheet. Now it's mine, though. I think he's only here to take favors, not give any. Again, do you see Thayer? Who's inviting him to this thread? And we'll talk about this in a second. No soup for you, Halia. He's nothing but a meme. You're just a meme. I've done a lot of favors for a lot of people over the years, and he put a laugh emoji. He also had responded with a lower offer than Phil. That's nothing... Okay, so there's nothing wrong with Phil's offer. Let's open with that. I mean, I thought it was low, yes. But otherwise, there's nothing wrong with it. In his mind, that was a fair offer. And I'm not going to sit here and cause a stink about that. That's fine. I don't have to sell it to him. He doesn't, I don't have to. Of course, Thayer comes in with his trolling, offering less than the previous offer. That's not how auctions work. Like this in a group. He's just trolling. He has nothing else better to do. I know you don't have a job, Thayer. I know that. I understand that you're at home with nothing to do now, but to sit here and troll in your own group is just disgusting. But nothing's too low for him. He has the title of admin, but he's no admin. He doesn't know how to act like it. He is the worst one I have ever encountered in my 20 years of being on the internet. I will say that easily. And I've worked with some difficult people before, but he is by far the worst I have ever worked with. Also, given how the community had treated me in the weeks leading up to this, why should I do anyone any favors? Why would I help you out? Why would I help anyone out? When you're sitting there talking poorly about me in a public space and it's being sent to me, like, no, get out of here with that. The fact that he responded with a laugh emoji to my response after I had given him some extra money just a few months prior on a purchase I made from him. So let's talk about that. I had purchased some league sheets from him, and he was going to send them to me for free, and I was like, no, I don't accept that. And I knew he, shortly there before, he was having some financial issues, so even more reason that I didn't feel comfortable getting something for free from him. So I actually looked back and found his PayPal from a previous exchange that we did, and I sent him like $20 or something. And I said, check your PayPal, and he was like, wait, what? Why? Why would you? I was like, dude, I'm not gonna take it for free. You're doing me this favor, and yeah, I'm not gonna do that. How quickly he forgot. And later on in the thread, Phil suggests running an auction, which he thought I wasn't going to be open to. And I said, I'm fine with an auction. Here, eBay. And he goes, I would do eBay. I was like, I'll have it up in a few days. Then Mr. Big Pants responds again. You wouldn't be allowed to do an auction here since when you were an admin, you tried putting a reserve on your auction. This isn't a blog for you to experiment with your auctions. Go use your Instagram, or I'll be turning post approval on for you. I didn't hit see more. My bad. It's a buying, selling, trading group. If I want to, this isn't a blog for you to experiment with your auctions. One of the rules is you can have auctions at the group. And I've experimented with it before to find the value of things, to get a baseline. And he's like, no, don't do that here. You want to know why he said that? He doesn't want me making money. There was no rule about having it at the time about having a reserve or not. Accurate. You yourself bid on that auction. If there was a rule break, I should have been informed. I was not informed. I'm confident no rule existed at the time. You cannot just make it up. I forgot to hit see more on this as well. And the last thing I put in there was that I was disappointed that he handled this in a public fashion. This is something that should have been handled privately. If I was banned, he should have informed me privately. But no, he wants attention. Here's your attention. I hope it's what you're looking for. It's basically common sense to not do what you did. And then posted one of my things in here. Common sense. To shut up with that. I was magically banned from doing auctions in the group because he doesn't want me making, and that's what it was. It had nothing to do with rule breaks. He just didn't want me to make money in the group. That's really all it comes down to. It comes down to money. He is the only one allowed to turn a profit. Just another example of bias and power abuse from someone who is just clearly unfit to be an admin. There were more comments made. It was also that time you were an admin, further abusing your power, similar to how you reached out to sell that sec box to Melissa. We already talked about that. Further, with the auction Donald had that you brought to my attention, we've been looking over auctions more carefully, and how you handle that auction as an admin are no longer allowed. No longer allowed. That's fine. I've never seen a page try to do auctions with reserves. I've been around for a while. If you want a reserve, put it on eBay. I still fail to see how it was a rule break. You can't just say common sense like it's supposed to mean something. Again, you yourself bid on that auction. Don't talk about power abuse. You banned Salvador strictly because you disliked him, and others. You Ags practically begged for me to ban him from the group multiple times. You were the last person that should be talking, and he really is. He's the last person that should be saying anything about power abuse. Then I responded to the other message, cool, no longer allowed. I am okay with that. You can't, however, ban me for something that was not a bannable offense in the past. And then you tend to make a bigger deal and attack your character that will get you banned if you agree with it or not. This is just him trying to wave his magical little wand around, saying, I've got the power here and you don't, and what I say goes, and that's that. I mean, imagine imagine working at a job and the supervisor is just like, I'm going to break the rules, and if you don't like it, you can leave. What would you do? You would leave. Like, unbelievable. I wasn't even attacking character here. Like, he attacked my character first, if anything. Just ridiculous. Anyway, he's been attacking my character for months and months now. He switches gears whenever he starts losing an argument, starts playing victim. If anything, he should have been banned for his constant rule breaks, those same rules that he himself implemented. He doesn't know how to follow his own rules, and he genuinely believes he's above them. There was also discussion about Thayer's admin privileges should have been stripped from him in the Discord shortly after the John M fight. That, again, Thayer instigated that, mind you. I'll keep this part brief, but essentially I had originally intended to strip Thayer of his admin rights in the Discord server due to his childish behavior for a week, but spoke with Karmic about it before doing it. This was the message that I was planning to send to Thayer, but Karmic ultimately convinced me not to, and that he would handle it. So Thayer has not seen this, because it never got sent to him. This is the message I was going to send. This is from my conversations with Karmic, because I sent it to Karmic first. Basically, I said, it doesn't matter who's more wrong and who's right, or who's more right. At the end of the day, both of you made mistakes. You both acted out of line. I'm paraphrasing here. There's a lot of things going on in the world. Again, this was in the middle of COVID. And the last thing I want is anyone to trickle down. And, the last thing anyone wants is for it to trickle into collecting shiny cardboard. So, John, I had said I was going to keep him out for 7 days. Although he had made a comment about how he wanted to join back just to, start issues. And I was like, if you do that, you're gone. John ultimately ended up not wanting to rejoin the server. He didn't want to deal with Thayer any longer. Not that I blame him. Thayer, I said I was going to take away his admin for 7 days. I had told him to block John after things were resolved, but he did not. I had stated that no one was to be removed from the group. I said if you want to ban him from Facebook, go for it. I thought it was power abuse doing so, but whatever. Discord's mine. He could have DM'd people. He chose not to. I get why he did the public tag, but I'm not saying that it was correct. 7 days, I was going to strip him of admin for 7 days. Not ban him from the server, but strip him of admin for 7 days. I didn't want things to change. A lot of people are going through a lot of things right now. And, yeah. I told Thayer, if you're having an issue with someone in the future, reach out to me or Karmic first. That's why we have 3 admins. It keeps things balanced. That's what makes a good administrator team. When you're having an issue with an administrator, you, as the admin, should be reaching out to the other administrators and saying, hey, I have this issue. It would be biased of me to handle it. Please step in. But no, he had John do that. And he clearly, I think it was just that he's just such a bad admin. He really was. At that point, he was done a pretty good job. It was after this that he started doing a lot worse. This is what ultimately ended up being the resolution. Karmic said he would talk to Thayer in my stead. We could do this in the open admin chat. That happened a little bit, but most of it happened in DM. Karmic said, I think a verbal warning is enough. And he said, I don't think taking admin away is going to do anything. I think it would have. I disagree, but I agreed to it just to I wanted the situation over with. He said it's a satisfactory outcome. Thayer gets it. So my interpretation is that Karmic verbally warned Thayer. That was his 2 cents. And he said, is this outcome satisfactory? I got the impression that Thayer was warned. That never happened. He said he was going to resolve it. He said he was going to talk to Thayer about it, but he never actually told him. So, I'm not really too upset with Karmic about it. I think it was handled poorly. But I'm not really like, oh, Karmic's terrible. No, it was a situation that was mistakes made. As long as we grow from it. When Karmic grew, I grew. Thayer didn't. I still think that admin should have been revoked. That's my opinion. So Thayer was like, hey, I got away with this. Wonder what else I could get away with. And that's why things got worse. Karmic continued to get worse. That's when he started going after Salvador. And then he started picking fight, and then with me. Things just got worse. Let's talk about the charity post. Let's talk about charity. That was made on Instagram by Thayer. So this situation ultimately led to me being banned from the group. And then banned from Inuyasha and Bleach as well. Because Thayer said, oh, I don't like Inviso. I don't want to see his updates anymore in either of these groups. So he banned me from every group he was an admin of. That is power abuse. I did nothing wrong in the Inuyasha or Bleach groups. I was banned. Wrongfully so. And I think that Facebook needs to do more with getting bad administrators out. So essentially what happened was when we were going back and forth, because Phil had made a post about it in the group and about things happening between me and Thayer. And eventually Thayer responded to stuff, and I said, what are your thoughts on the recent allegations of harassment you are facing? I took a very reporter-like approach to this because that's how I needed to be in order to get an answer. However, he was refusing to answer. I asked him a second time in a different, because he responded to someone else. He didn't respond to me. He responded to someone else in a completely different thread. He ignored me on that question. So I said again, what are your thoughts on the recent allegations of harassment you are facing? I would love to hear your comments. I got banned. So let's look at everything. I made this post on Instagram about my group. I made this because I was getting sick of dealing with Dyer, and I knew I was going to get banned soon. So I made my own group, and I promoted it on Instagram. You know, he said I could promote my stuff on my mediums, and I did. Note the time. This screenshot and the next screenshot were taken at the same time. 9 hours later, I see a post from Inward on Instagram promoting his Facebook group. And he talks about giveaways and a charity, touts about having 400 members. This off to the side is everything that's underneath this link. I just wanted it all in one screenshot. He was bragging, you know, this is our group. It's, you know, and he didn't flat out say this is better than the other group, but it's very strongly implied. This post was made in June, I believe. The charity wasn't happening for another 5 to 6 months. So why make this post on Instagram hours after I make my post? And there's a reason for that. What was the point? He was made aware I was using my Instagram to promote my new group, and he didn't like that. He wanted my group to fail. So he posted about his better group in an attempt to take away folks from joining my group. I made a response post on Instagram to this because I was not about to sit there and take that. It was lengthy, but essentially I called him out for using a charity that was meant to help kids to try and hurt the promotion of my group. He claimed coincidence, but as we've seen, this guy doesn't do anything by chance. In fact, I know he or at least someone informs of my posts. So you're probably saying to yourself at this point, that's paranoia. Like, dude, calm down. You're suffering from paranoia right now. He's not doing that. Well, I have proof, or at least evidence. On the left, on the right, we'll start with the right. I made a post on Instagram a couple of days prior about getting my hands on an Epic Tales that was still sealed in the demo deck. Very rare at this point. They don't show up that often, and most people don't know about it, and they open it. And you can even see the comment from Dark Icer. Wow, awesome find sealed. And it is. It was an awesome find. Shortly after I made that post, in the Thyre's Facebook group, the friendly group, of course, Thyre posted his Ryzen set for sale. Even trade, and they posted a demo deck. I think I'd be getting a bit too good of a deal. Only feel it's right to let you know. You're too kind. Definitely a gem here. I wish. I'm the villain here. Give me all the things, please. So to sit there and tell me it was just coincidence? Really? Does this look like it's a coincidence to you? I don't think so. It is very clear he was watching my Instagram. And when he saw that post, he went, oh no, I'm not going to let him potentially get people. I'm going to post mine, and it's going to be better than his. He tried to claim, I was giving people a heads up because of the charity. There's money involved and all that stuff around the holidays. It's June. The charity isn't for months. That kind of post makes sense in September/October, not June or July. I'm pretty sure this took place in June, though. I could be wrong, so I'll give it that. Am I paranoid? I don't think I am. He was watching my Instagram. This was not a coincidence. This was intentional. I'm not being paranoid. I'm not. Again, though, I'm the instigator. He constantly looks, oh, this is going to be a good screenshot. He constantly looks for ways to cause problems for me. I didn't believe him for even a second that it was coincidence, though. When he said that to me, oh, it's just coincidence. No, it wasn't. And I knew it wasn't. He also was upset that I mentioned his son in my Instagram post. We're going to take a peek at that. I talked about how he was a parent and that this behavior is unacceptable for a parent. But I didn't mention his son. This was again an attempt to twist the accusations around and make me the bad guy for calling him out. Vile behavior. I did not get all the screenshots I wanted, as I was banned before doing so. So how did I not get all the screenshots? I got tagged somewhere else, and I went to go see that tag, and I was like, oh, okay. So I went back to go get the screenshots. I was banned at that point, so I couldn't see anything anymore. So yeah, this talks about the post Phil made in the group regarding this and the things between Thayer and I needed to stop. Again, I had attempted to make things stop multiple times. I said, I'm going to let bygones be bygones. I'm going to stick to, just don't talk about me. Don't talk about me. That's all you need to do. Be mature. But Thayer couldn't do that. He had to keep going. He had to keep instigating. And somehow I was supposed to be the bigger person and just accept that's how he is? Being the bigger person means being the victim, and I am not about to be a victim. Anyway, below is a snippet of Thayer trying to manipulate the situation. This is the only screenshot I had gotten because I was just laughing at this point. After he told me to post whatever. Oh, yeah, so here's my comment. Is saying that, like, he told me to go post stuff on my Instagram, and then when I did, he does this. I said, I don't believe in coincidences. And Thayer goes, I don't even follow you on Instagram. Again, you don't need to. My profile is public. You don't have to follow me to see my posts. I actually tried publicly reaching out to admins on the UU main page to try and advertise the charity event for this year. Made my own post on Instagram for it. Not sure why you think anyone involving UU has to pertain to you, but you do you. So this is him. So what he was doing here was trying to make it sound like I'm overreacting. Also, I am a father, but I'm not sure why you thought it best to attack me and bring my children into this. You should probably take a step back and see how you're acting. Do not attempt to spin this on me and make me out to be the aggressor. This is a culmination of months and months of me dealing with harassment for you, and you've seen those screenshots of all the crap I had to put up with. All you had to do was stop. That's all it would have taken. If there was ever an issue with me, you could have had Chris step in, but you chose the worst possible course of action each and every time. You took every shot at me you could whenever you felt you could, and we have a screenshot of him admitting to that, too. You have continued to make my life as difficult as possible in this game and stress me out mentally, and for what? I'm well within my rights to not be okay with this, and I will not have my thoughts and feelings on this downplayed and misconstrued. Incredibly manipulative. You're the one that needs to start reflecting on their actions. There is mountains of evidence of you instigating with me, and there's even more I didn't post. Own up to your mistakes. I had posted a couple of the screenshots from above. I had posted in the group. He didn't respond to a single one. So let's look at where the spot he claims I mentioned his children. I didn't. You are more than old enough to know the difference between right and wrong. This is me responding to his charity post, and how certain lines shouldn't be crossed using kids. Again, not his kids. Using kids like this is just, I'm speechless. You are a goddamn parent, for Christ's sake. This is truly unacceptable behavior, and you should be ashamed of yourself for stooping to such a low level, simply over the fact that you don't like me and wanted to hurt the growth of my group. No sacrifice is too much, though, I guess, for you, as long as you believe it hurts me. This says to me that you truly don't care about helping children, only yourself. I really cannot express how disgruntled I am with this individual. You are not a good person. Apparently, in this paragraph, I mentioned his children. I mentioned him being a parent. And if you think that's me mentioning his children, by all means, go for it. But all I said that this was unacceptable behavior for someone who's a parent to use kids like this. He knew saying that would get people to feel bad for him. So this was him trying to play it up, trying to make people feel bad for him. Again, this was all manipulation. He was lying and twisting words to get what he wanted. He then claimed others to have been very upset. Supposedly, he was extremely upset over my post and was distraught over it. He wasn't upset over my post. He was upset that I caught and exposed him. He didn't like being exposed. And that's a part of the reason why this video is being posted. Because I know he doesn't like being exposed. He doesn't like the spotlight like this. The only time he likes being in the spotlight is when he's being aggressive. Your time is up. I'm exposing you. Shortly after, as I stated, I was banned from the group. However, I wasn't the only one banned, so we have a posting from Chris and Joey. Best way to solve this is to start a GoFundMe, so these two can meet up in person and duke it out. Clearly a joke post. I don't know who liked it. Joey said, I agree. On my planet, we solve these problems with a fight to the death. Clearly, these are joke posts. However, they got banned from the group. Why? Instigating a fight. Something that Thayer has done on multiple occasions. Now, he's like, instigating a physical fight. So here's the thing. He doesn't like Joey, actually. Thayer thinks Joey was leaking stuff to me. As an FYI, Thayer, for the record, he didn't. I didn't even ask him about stuff because I didn't want to put Joey in that position. But Joey messaged me afterwards. He was like, dude, I got banned from the group and I don't know why. Thayer didn't tell him why he banned him. So I asked some people within the group, and Thayer apparently made a post. I didn't get sent this, saying that he was banning people for instigating a fight. Okay. But this was a joke post. Clearly this was a joke post. But Thayer was offended, and he needed to ban them instantly. I think he banned Joey because, again, I think he suspected Joey was leaking stuff to me. So he's been wanting to ban Joey for a while. Well, I will say I know Joey was pretty not happy about this. If instigating is an offense worthy of a ban, Thayer should have been removed many months ago. Facts. Thayer continues to remove people he suspects are me from the group. He apparently is also rejecting people from the group he also suspects are me. So he is rejecting people from the group he thinks are me. And I think that's hilarious. He removes people from the friendly Discord server that he thought were also me or were leaking to me. But I'm the issue here, guys. Guy is certifiably insane. We're almost done. I'll finish up by saying that at one point in that thread, no picture of this, sadly, Thayer literally referred to his treatment of me as poking fun. That's literally what he said. Oh, I'm just poking fun at Inviso. This is a common response from a bully when the person they are bullying reports them. I was starting to expose him, and he was getting scared. He was getting very, very scared. So he was like, "Oh, I was just having fun, man. It was just poking fun, yo. Like it's not that deep. It's only fun when all parties involved are having fun. Poking fun at the expense of someone else who doesn't appreciate it and doesn't want it, that's not poking fun. You're being a bully. That's what being a bully is. Textbook definition, what it means to be a bully. And that's what you are. You're a big old bully. Last thing I'm going to show, because, friendly Discord. And I mentioned this earlier, I was attacked for threatening a cease and desist order against an individual in the community. He had re-uploaded most of my carded image library without my explicit permission for public use, and to top it off, he gave me no credit for it. I was told I was a terrible person for doing such a thing, but here is the announcement that Thayer made. This was my post. I sent this to Thayer. I said, I know there are folks out there who downloaded my card image library, or just portions. Please make it clear that any attempt to upload these images as one's own will be met with a report to the site they are uploaded to. And if people want to use them as, hey, I need this card, that's fine. I was okay with that. What wasn't okay was uploading my entire library and using them as stock photos. Those are not okay. But if people plan to upload the entire library as their own, that's not acceptable. And he said that was from Inviso. And then a guy named Ronald replied, well, he can report me if he wants to. That's the guy that re-uploaded my library. Well, he can report me if he wants to. And then I did. And he got upset that I did. And Thayer used that against me. He reported him. How could you get upset at someone saying, go ahead and report me, go ahead and report me? And then you get reported and you get upset. That's not how, wait, what? I put so much time into that card image library. I really did. So, and the fact that you felt the need to, right, steal my work and upload it as your own is just gross. The card image library is back up, guys. Hope you all learned some stuff about Thayer here, but not just Thayer, about some folks of the community as well, and about what has transpired. I went through a lot of effort to put this together. A lot of effort. Hours. So I hope that, at minimum, you watched through to the end, or at least read the document. For those who understand what I went through and aren't being a-holes, thank you. I appreciate you. For those of you who are subscribed and appreciate my videos, there's still more to come. Not about this, but about like card stuff. I've got some awesome streams planned for later this year. Not everyone in the community sucks, of course, but there was a growing toxicity in the community, and I was made to be the scapegoat. I'm the guy that got blamed for everything. But this was all mostly put together by Thayer. He manipulated everything, and I have no problem speaking to that. A few finishing notes. I am allowed to collect however I want. If I want foil play sets, I'm allowed to get them. If I want 100 copies of a card, I can do that. I'm not mandated by any means to bend what I want for someone else. I will always be on the lookout for others, but I'm going to be looking out for myself first. Wouldn't you? You have 3 copies already. Let someone else get a copy. Sorry? I don't know what you want me to say. I'm more than allowed to prioritize myself first, in my collection first, because at the end of the day, you're not going to prioritize my collection. Only I can do that. Thayer put out a lot of false statements about me over the last few months, and many believed them without bothering to get actual proof or hear my side of things. Typical human behavior, though. I've shown you the mountains of proof, mountains, of the stuff that I went to and had to endure from these people. And I guess the one remaining question about everything is, why? Why did Dyer do all this? Now, I had to take some psych classes to go into my career, and while I'm certainly no master of psychology, I think my take on this might be a little accurate. I think he's losing control of his life, and I think he's insecure about it all. COVID got him, laid off, and, he's spending all his time at home, and I guess he just, I don't want to sound mean, but I guess he felt useless. And being the quote here, hero of the community by making me out to be the bad guy was his way of giving back to the world, his way of fitting in. And that's just disgusting. You're a miserable person. And you took it out on me because I was the easy target. And misery loves company. What can be done to fix all of this? You need to step down. You are unfit to be an administrator of all the groups. Yu, Inu, Bleach. You're just unfit to be in any position of power. And he would be doing the entire community a favor by stepping down. That doesn't mean, oh, don't run your charity, or, oh, you have to leave your group. No, I'm not saying to leave your group. I'm not saying to, do any of that. But I think you need to step down. I think that you are unfit. The numerous power abuses against me, against Salvador, and there are other people out there that he did this to. It is not just the two of us. There are others. Again, John, I know he rejected some people, like a guy named Bill. He had rejected a guy named Justin at one point from the group, but he's in the group now at this point. His bias actions, the bullying, the harassment, the stalking, the manipulative behavior, these are egregious and they are unacceptable. We are here to collect cards, not drama. Again, I'm going to end this. If you believe I wrote and put this all together to create drama, you missed the point of this. I'm not here to do that. Believe me or not, the choice is yours. I am speaking out. Yours truly, Inviso, the Kaiba Corporation of the Yu Hakusho trading card game. That's a funny joke. I like saying that. And that's it. That's everything. Below is a link to the PDF version of this. I apologize on how long this video was. 2 hours and 47 minutes. There was just so much to go through. If you watched this, I appreciate it. If you read the document, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Again, I'm not here to change your mind. I'm not. If you think Dyer's still the hero, the good guy, that's fine. I don't care. But I will not be treated like this, and it be okay. Like, I won't be. This is unacceptable. The fact that I got kicked out of a community that I helped build for 15 years. Unbelievable. To the people out there who took his side without bothering to get mine, you reap what you sow. Made your bed, lie in it. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I still collect. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to let this stop me. Yeah, I guess that's it. See ya.